Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxxTV's podcast 388. Tim Miller, the disc golf guy, alongside Johnny V. And
I want to be referred to as Johnny Skip Ace V from now on, I think. No, I don't. I'm just kidding.
Okay, I guess if that's what you need to do.
No, I mean, I'm all about the promotion now.
Yes, you are.
I'm a master of Skip Ace promotion at this point. You know, we're doing really well. I'm about to retire from everything and just
thank God,
everything.
Thank God.
Yes.
You are. I'm not saying you're overdue, but
I'm overdue.
Well, we'll get into a little bit more, break down what's going on over there at Skip Ace. I'm not going to lead off by saying I'm disappointed to be here or to be next to you, but my original life plans had me landing in Thailand tonight. And instead I'm here with you in Wisconsin. That is absolutely a disappointment. I'm not saying you're a disappointment.
I mean, you kind of are, but
you are. Big shout out, of course, missing all of the friends and what feels like family over there in Thailand, over there on Koh Samui. Luke and Nigel and the entire crew, everyone that's involved over there. The Samui Swine is taking place this week. They're going to have amateurs, I believe, on Thursday and Friday, and then pros on Saturday and Sunday. I think that's the whatever it is. It doesn't matter. I'm not there. So it's not as exciting as it would have been, but we have a quick turnaround. Of course, next weekend is going to be the All-Star break. We just got done with Maricopa, and with all the travel and then some of the restrictions and additional hoops to jump through, it wasn't really practical. I worried that by the time I got there and quarantined, it'd be like 2 days later I'd have to turn around and come back.
To quarantine and come back. It's understandable. International travel right now is very difficult. I'll be curious to see how the whole situation looks towards the middle of the season when the pros are looking at going over to Europe for the European Open. Are we going to be past what we're dealing with now? Will there be something new? None of that stuff I really am sure about. So.
Yeah, well, all we can do is wait and see and hope, like you said, whether it's June, July, August, somewhere in that time frame, that's when we'll see what it looks like. I got to meet Sanders, I believe his name was, from Norway this weekend. He was here. I think he said he was an exchange student. He was out in Maricopa, and he talked about then being back in Norway by the time the event rolls over there, and we'll see if that all shakes out in the plus for all of our players, as you were just saying. So fingers crossed on that one. But welcome, everyone. Excited to get at it tonight. And in just a few moments, we're going to welcome our first guest. But overall, awesome time in Arizona. We'll get into that later. One of the people that I ran into, none other than our two-time world champ and now DGA-sponsored professional, Katrina Allen. Hey, Kat.
Hey, what's up?
So, like, you don't play golf? You just go out and spectate? Is that what you're doing this weekend? You're like, oh, there's a B tier going on. Let's see what's going down.
Well, with the announcements and all the excitement and hiding in fields and not really getting to play a competitive round, I thought I would just come out and support instead of start the season playing a bigger tournament 3 days after announcing or 2 days after announcing.
So I guess that brings me to my first question, seeing as you bring that up. How long have you been able, well, first of all, how long have you been hiding? And how long have you been able to kind of test out the plastic a little bit? Obviously, you couldn't be out in public. We've talked to some of the other pros about that. But how long have you had a chance to throw it?
I have been, you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're freezing up just a little bit.
You're a tad choppy on your end. Your audio's,
okay,
for the most part, good.
Do you want me to get off the Wi-Fi, see if that helps?
It's up to you. Yeah, if the Wi-Fi there is cruddy, then try the 4G. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Is Austin streaming again? Is he?
He's playing World of Warcraft again.
No better, huh?
No, that seems to be. We'll roll with that.
Sounds all right. Yeah, you're doing good.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so we got to Arizona in January, and I had already signed and knew, and so I've been hiding since January 3rd.
Now, I was just going to say,
does that mean going out to fields and throwing, like looking for places that nobody's around? And, you're kind of just like, hey, let's pull over. Here's an open field, Austin, this side of the highway, underneath some power lines. Like, how do you find places?
There's a big desert out there.
There is a big D in the desert, nonetheless. Do you just avoid golf courses at this point and look for open fields?
Yeah. So luckily, like 3 minutes from our Airbnb was a field that somehow, even though I went at like the same times every day, I never ran into disc golfers, and I just bring a basket, and Austin and I would just throw and putt, and no scares, nothing.
Nice. Yeah, you got
same exact place, almost same exact time every day.
All right, well, don't let anyone know.
Somebody right now is listening to this, going, "Oh my God, I saw her! That's who was in the field." Like, there's never been a basket there.
I would go to Los Olivos in Phoenix, like kind of even before the sun was up, like as the sun was, so there's nobody out there yet. And I try to leave like as soon as it was completely light out.
So let's get, I'll say even to those specifics and say, what was with the time frame and the timing? Was it, you said that was January. Was it a matter of getting promotional stuff put together? Why was there, a little bit of that delay, and the fact that you were, obviously trying to keep this a secret, but why was there that delay?
I guess it was just, I signed later in December, and we were just getting everything done. I mean, we enjoyed the holidays, Christmas and New Year's, and then got back to work after that, and just deciding where I was going to fly out to do the promotional videos, and making sure that was edited to our liking, and making sure the discs and the artwork was ready. And honestly, there was no like, oh, let's wait till these people, announce and then we'll announce. It just kind of all worked out like that.
Yeah, because of course there's been a lot of shifting and moving by a lot of different competitors this off season. Some were expected, and some, like yourself, didn't really seem expected at all. In fact, I said just a few days ago, I think it was the same day actually that you announced, that I think unless you were in the know and somehow had personal intel, I don't think most people would have made that guess. And then, of course, like 100 people came out of the woodwork and said, "No, I totally called it. I knew it." I was like, okay, well, then you're all smarter.
I did see a comment on your thing that was like, worst secret of the year. And I was like,
I think there's some worse secrets.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, again, once you were tipped off, I was like, okay, yeah, some people knew, whatever. But just to if you polled, that wasn't a guess. So back it up just a little and tell us about your history with DGA.
Oh, yeah. So they were actually my first sponsor. I played I guess it was an A tier, End of the Trail in Visalia, as an amateur. And as I was checking in, I met the DGA crew, Shasta, KK, trying to think who was all there. Keezy. And anyways, just kind of started. I remember kind of finishing everything at Women's US that year. And then I think when I got back, I had a box of DGA discs, and
Did you guys talk
Keezy
about?
and I stayed friends even after I decided to play for Discraft.
Okay.
And then, moving forward, just any tournament we were at when we saw each other. And I think, you guys may know, but Mike Wagner from Discraft and I are really good friends as well. And, Scott and Mike are friends, so I would see them sometimes. And we just always made sure to kind of sit down, catch up, have a good conversation. So, now circle, here we are.
Yeah. Now, even speaking to that sponsorship all those years ago, was that something that you actively asked about, or was that something like they saw you and like, hey, we need to sponsor this person immediately?
Are you talking back then or now?
Back then. I mean, was that a thought of were you looking for a sponsor even? I mean, weren't you an amateur, right?
Yeah, and actually, I remember my bag was all Innova except for the buzz, because I never enjoyed throwing the rock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was kind of
both.
I don't know. I just always felt weird in my hand. But anyways, And I think I was thinking about putting the Mako in my bag
Mm.
instead of the Buzz. I don't know. I was an AM, so who knows if that even makes sense.
Yeah. So there's always the number one question, I think. Well, yeah, I'd say it's a pretty popular question for DGA players. Whenever you have we'll say a partner company, whether it's Dynamic Disc and a Westside, or, for a while it was, of course, Discmania and Innova, or Millennium and Innova. DGA is, all the discs are produced by Discraft. What is the relationship in terms of what disc you can throw or not, and if there's preferences, and how much thought have you put into all of that?
I still haven't even thought about throwing a Discraft disc at all. I'm very happy with my lineup. Um, yeah, I think even though they don't have, hundreds of discs
Mm-hmm.
or whatever other companies have, everything they've sent me, I'm like, wow, okay, okay. And so um, I honestly haven't even thought twice about it. Like, I have seen that question a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I would definitely say, you know, go out and throw some of their discs because, yeah, like I said, I don't have a hole in my bag that I know of. I've even went out this last week and played some actual, like, I played doubles last night at Contecito, ran by Jordan Castro over there. And that was kind of my first, competitive round. And I didn't leave thinking, oh my gosh, I need this and I need that. And, but I think I also went into it just thinking like, okay, even though I've had discs in my bag for, 8+ years, this is my new bag and I'm just gonna, make these work. And I honestly haven't even thought about it, to be honest.
When it comes to your discs and your style, I don't know. Clearly, I don't know because I'm going to ask you. Are you more of a like limited number of molds that are beat in? Like maybe you only carry 4 different molds and they're just different levels of beatness, or are you kind of like, I always think of it like the Dave Feldberg who has 27 different molds and each one has a purpose and in different weather conditions. How do you approach building a bag like that?
I guess, just I think what I'm enjoying too is a lot of the discs are really friendly for my hyzer flip shot. So like I'm able to get a mid in there that's understable and flipping up and late flipping for me and things like that. But no, I just have there's a couple molds that I love that I have, 2 or 3 in there. But other than that, just I'm trying to think how many molds. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I'm more like more molds, less, you know what I mean? Like I don't have like 4 or 5 bag.
Yeah. So
Okay.
more molds with more variety. So
Yeah. And maybe I'm still kind of figuring out like, what I'll really need. But yeah, I feel like I have all my bases covered. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I asked the same question of everyone, and maybe you just kind of answered it, but I still have to ask, do you feel like you're ready, and or do you need any additional adjustment period before the season starts? Or are you dialed in? You have your disc, you have your practice, and you're ready to go. I'm asking you, do you have any excuses, or will you later? That's what I'm asking.
No. No, and I've already thought about that too. Like when I go out to Vegas, like I played that course for years with Prodigy, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll just step up and be like, okay, well, what disc in my bag? Well, like think back to all the field work I did the last month. Like what flies like this in my bag, from all the field work. And I think it'd be silly to make excuses. That would just be give me a reason if I played bad to start the season,
I always think about when a player switches manufacturers, not so much because they're all out there. You guys, everyone's out there practicing with their new plastic. I think about that first rain round where it's like nobody wants to go out and practice in the rain. You may, you're kind of dedicated like that, but just thinking like, oh wow, maybe I haven't got this down, and or I didn't think about this type of plastic for this situation. Those are the rounds that scare me the most, not those early season gorgeous Vegas rounds.
Yeah, all that rain. Were you practicing in rain in Arizona?
I played in the snow in Vegas.
That's true. That's very true. And Jonesboro, I think.
That too.
Yeah. But you know, I don't change my plastic. I know a lot of people do, but I don't.
Okay.
So even
Maybe
though
I should, I don't know.
I'm not a big in the bag kind of person, but our viewers usually are. So give us a super quick rundown. Like you just mentioned, 4 or 5-ish molds. What do you see yourself primarily throwing?
SP Rift for sure. That's my signature disc, but it's also, I mean, like I threw it today on a hole that was like 360, where a little bit pretty hard, and it just flipped up and went dead straight. It's an unbelievable flight for me to see a mid-range do that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was insane. It flies so well. So much glide. And then let's see, what else am I liking? I'm rolling the sail.
Okay.
I've been out at Contecito practicing that. The Tempest will probably be my go-to distance driver.
Okay.
Well, it will be. Also loving the Rogue, the Pipeline. Let's see, what else? The Quake.
Okay.
Overstable mid. I am, of course, loving the Breaker. I think anyone who knows DGA knows how well that flies.
I was going to ask that because that seems to be, not the one disc, but like the primary disc people talk about when they talk about DGA, how much they love the Breaker. Does your prototype disc have a name yet? Is it?
Not yet.
Okay.
Or maybe it does.
Or it does and you're not sharing it.
Come on,
Kat. We need the goods. Give us the exclusive.
Do we want to get into a little bit about contract stuff? I mean, you have a signature disc now, a prototype disc, like a lot of other players are getting their kind of own line or anything like that. If you're not going to tell us the name, do you at least have a theme? A lot of players have theme. We saw Kevin Jones; he's got like the DJ kind of theme, the reverb and other things. Do you have a theme that you're kind of leaning towards for your? I'm assuming you're going to get more discs. We're going to cross our fingers. Do you have a theme you're going with?
Yeah. So, it'll just fit in with all the other cool, tropical storm names like hurricane and, all those things. But that's all I'm going to tell you.
Okay. Are you prepared for the Hurricane Katrina comments?
It's a, understable to straight fairway driver. And I think I am so bad with this. This is kind of embarrassing because I haven't cared about this since I started playing, but I know people really do.
Oh, give me those flight numbers. I need them.
Right. I know it's a speed 7.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Just say glide 6. That sounds good to everybody. Okay. Turn, fade.
Yeah, I'm not even going to attempt the other two, but I
turn -1, fades.
Sure,
12.
whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, here's what I'll say. If you have any questions on how it flies, go out and watch Kat's video because she throws it, and it made me want to go out and get some because I'm watching you throw these hyzer flips, which I personally love as well because I'm bad at throwing flat or anhyzer. Everything I throw is hyzer flip, and I looked at them like, wow, I bet you that would go really nice in my bag.
Yeah, but you don't throw like her. That's the problem.
No, I know.
You have a lower ceiling, and you want that mid flight, like a mid range flight with the glide and the flip up. That's what I'll be using it for. Things like that.
We all know it's all about the disc. It has nothing to do with the players. It's all about the disc. If I get Kat's disc, if I buy 10 of them,
then you will throw better.
I will
guarantee it. We guarantee it. With regard to your contract, and that was a question that just came in off the board. Was it officially announced or determined? And I know I saw your video, but was it locked in for a certain amount of years right off the bat? Is it 1 year with extension possibilities, or did you guys lock in on any terms lengthwise?
Yeah, I sold my soul. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. As long as you got paid well.
I mean, trust me, I've got blackmail stuff on Keezy, so don't worry. If you need to get out of a contract someday, come to us.
We got all you need. We've got photos.
um, 4 years, and we, like I said in the video, Keezy and I, it was just like putting numbers out there and focusing on that. That's not really my style. That's not his style, and we immediately agreed that I think what's more important is like the relationships. And I talk to Keezy almost every day. He's like, how are you liking this? He even texts me today, how's the proto flight, are you still loving it, is everything okay, like uh, so
he's bothering you. We hear you. Blink
Yeah.
twice if it's too much.
I'll message him right now. Back off, dude.
I was gonna say, please give him some crap.
Oh, we will. Don't
No
worry,
worries.
we
will. So obviously being taken care of.
But
What?
then on top of that, honestly, there was a couple conversations. Me and Keezy were kind of feeling things out, and there was something about a conversation that was like talking about my work ethic and how competitive I am and how hard I work and how much I care. And they're like, we want you to just continue to focus on that, and then we're going to tell the world and like who you are off the course, or the funny side of you, or the I don't think a lot of people know I'm down for some smack talk, or
which is funny because you're a very serious competitor on the course. We all know that, and a lot of people don't know you off the course. But some people and some pros may not want that. Some pros may say, "Leave my personal life personal." Others maybe just haven't had the opportunity to show their other side. Would you like that? Would you like it if people knew you better off the course, or do you prefer a more, we'll say, buttoned up on the course kind of feel?
I mean, I'm okay with it, and like as long as it's all genuinely done. You know what I mean? I don't want to be like forcing it, or making it like some weird agenda, but it has been fun, and even Tyler Brickley and I did a video when we were in, sorry, it's getting late, Rock Hill filming, and we did a little challenge, and he got me to relax in the front of the camera, because I don't think a lot of people know I actually am very shy when it comes to making that kind of videos, or like go, like I would never get on my Instagram and just go live and start talking to people. That would be so weird.
Which is funny you say that, because clearly we have so many different personalities in disc golf, and they're quite contrasting. Like you said, to just go live, we think there's dozens of our top level competitors, your peers, that are 100% good with that. That's almost an agenda or something they're comfortable with, and it's just something, like you said, you couldn't see yourself really doing.
Her new social media team will take care of that.
Then that was my next question: is in working with someone like Tyler, clearly very funny himself, but then also just so well-rounded and experienced in doing what he does. Did you guys just talk about, again, maybe not necessarily calendar, but you're going to be working on things throughout that are going to help bring out your non-competitive side, is pretty much what you're saying, right? With Tyler and whatnot.
Yeah, just giving me more opportunities, I guess. They, like I said, they are super supportive of, how hard I work, and competing be my number one priority. I'm a athlete first, and that's where I felt like the fact that was a priority, that they supported that being a priority, was huge for me. And they're like, if you're feeling comfortable, you want to do something, let's do something. If not, you want to keep your head down and keep focusing on working hard, you do that. We'll take care of you. Don't worry about it. So
that perfectly ties together a very similar comment I heard recently from a fellow FPO player, and the statement she made when we were talking about sponsorships and how these are all unfolding for everybody is she just blatantly said, "Am I an athlete first, or am I an entertainer and a social media person?" And it for, as you just described, you want to keep that. You are an athlete first. You're a world champion first, and the social media maybe that follows is totally secondary.
Right. And I would like to maybe in a way um, share some more, share like what I do to work hard, or,
Hmm.
nutrition or fitness or preparation, or, maybe, like I said, if there's those opportunities and it works out, I would like to give back more on my social media. I follow a lot of people in the nutrition, fitness, health, who put out all this amazing information, and I'm so grateful for it. And then as I'm radio silent, I would love to find a way to do that, share what's worked for me, and, um, you know, whether that's, like what I do the morning before a tournament, or, you know, whatever.
Then I have to ask, what did you have for dinner tonight?
I didn't see it on Instagram.
I bet everyone in the world knows.
Okay. So not veering from the plan.
All right.
Do you know? Do you know what?
Some sort.
Steak
Yeah, I was gonna say some kind of ribeye steak or something.
No. Oh, is it?
Yep.
Is it a ribeye? Okay, I wasn't sure if it was a ribeye.
It's a ribeye.
Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna call you predictable, but
fillets for breakfast. I don't know. I got on a fillet kick, but
I like me a fillet personally.
Okay.
That's,
yeah.
Okay. But
so I guess maybe, and I know which way you're going. You just described it perfectly. What your plan is. How do you feel about the emphasis that is put on social media? Because to be fair, you and I, we all know, you put your stats against a clone that has identical stats. One is super active on social media and one isn't. And this super active one is probably going to garner a bigger contract, is probably going to get some more things thrown at them. Do you feel that that's it? I guess that should it be that way, since you're worried about playing in a sporting event?
Right. It's I mean, so you're saying if someone with like all my accomplishments, same level of play, only on top of that, they also have a really good social media.
Yeah, or I'd even go as far as saying someone with far less. I mean, you certainly are one of the most accomplished women in our sport, but so take a player that doesn't have quite the accolades or the accomplishments, but it feels as if maybe their contracts are either bigger or more lucrative simply because then they have a larger social media presence and maybe following. Is that upside down because you're competing in a sport, or is that just part of business these days?
I was just gonna say, do I think it's fair? Absolutely not. Do I think it's how I view the world? No, but I'm also like logical and a realist, and obviously sponsors see that as being huge. I mean, someone's posting a video of their discs every day, that's views and that's money in their pocket. So I can't like hate on it, but it doesn't mean I have to agree with it either.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's just, I think that's what has rang so loud through this offseason, is that we're seeing and hearing various contracts that are very much assembled and catered around someone's following or their presence or their, and not necessarily just what they're doing.
I was going to say, I think each contract seems like it's more and more focused on what the particular player is best at. Do you not care about your social media? Do you have somebody else doing your social media? Are you more focused on your social media and less focused on the course? I think it can balance out. I mean, it just, and then there's some people that can do that. That can do both relatively well.
Yeah, and I think the discussion that I've had is like, this year to my knowledge, I was at almost every press conference, maybe one or two that I wasn't at. So there's technically social media, being on a feature card or making the live card or post round interviews or the PDGA or someone else sharing, about a successful weekend. I figure that's also in its own way still getting social media.
And let me just say, from a broadcaster perspective, thank you for always showing up to your spot. Thank you for being in agreement, and it makes our job so much easier, and we love you that much more for it.
Well, I actually had the Disc Golf Pro Tour say that to me at the end of the year, and the PDGA people, and who was it? I think another crew, and I was like, wait, do people they're like, some people just don't even show up. And so as Mama Cat on tour, everyone else needs to get their butts on time.
There you go. We appreciate that. Yes. Treating it like a job, like you're a professional athlete, you're a professional spokesperson for at least one company, if not more. So you treat it as such. And everyone very much appreciates that.
I don't mind if the players don't want to do it. If that's not their thing, fine, but don't say you're going to do it and then bail at the end. That's all that's
all right. So we're going to backtrack.
I actually, now that you say that, I think I can think of 5 instances right now where like the person in front of me didn't show up, or they showed up 5 minutes late, so I was pushed back, or
Yeah, so we very much appreciate that. And speaking of accolades, you again awarded Player of the Year. What does that mean to you? Someone who works so hard, and as that shows that consistency, but to you, what does that mean?
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. It shows that, like, I never had too much of a lull, or too low of a part of the season. That, I would definitely say there's, some tournaments out there where I got second by a stroke or two, and I would love to have those wins. But one thing I really told myself at the beginning of the year was like, if the weekend doesn't go as planned, still get your butt up on Monday morning, get back in the gym, stay focused, and start looking on the next week and not dwelling on the last week. Like, maybe take some notes, figure out what didn't work so well, and, kind of keep trucking, if you will. And so I feel like that's what that means, Player of the Year, is that from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, I was the most consistent player.
Does your love or passion ever wean at all for the sport? I mean, you grind hard, as so many of our professionals do. You also happen to be more successful than most, so maybe that's certainly in your favor. But does your
causation does equal correlation in this case?
Does your passion though ever fade or dim or anything?
You ever want to take a week off?
Not just a week, but just in general.
I can take a week off. Like if I go, if we go to Mexico, I'm not bringing discs, and sometimes I don't even work out. I just wake up and go straight to the pool or straight to the beach, and really have a vacation.
No, I was thinking more so like, you ever get to an event and be like, ugh, I really don't want to do this. Like, just really, and clearly you're going to, but just kind of, do you ever have that feeling, or are you pretty much excited for most events?
I think I would say maybe more like at the end of the round when it's not going well, where I'm like, okay, get me out of here.
I'm done with this.
To start, no, I'm like
We've all
nervous and excited, and I want to win and, shoot lights out. And, but no, I think it comes from, like, to be honest, I'm thinking back to even when I bartended or, had other jobs. Like, I just always wanted to do my job to the best of my abilities, like work as hard as I could. I didn't want to just be a bartender who kind of made some money. Like, I wanted a full rail of regulars and like a good time with the game on, and make as much money as possible and having a good time doing it. So I feel like that's just what's coming out in disc golf, is like, if I'm going to be out here on tour, I'm not going to, half-ass it. I'm going to do everything I can to play to my best. And, when you wake up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym, and then the weekend finally comes, you don't do all that to just, kind of not care or not play well.
It was great. I had this picture in my head of Kat in the movie Cocktail, flipping, mixed drinks and like flinging bottles around. It's awesome.
There's actually a really funny TikTok guy who makes fun of bartenders, and he does it spot on, and I love it. I don't know his name, but he did one of the nice mean bartender, like where their service is really good, but they're kind of short and they're just like a tad bit rude. And I'm like, that was me some Friday nights.
I was just gonna say, what kind of bartender? I mean, you just said the dedication and the heart you put into it, but how do you feel like you were with the
clients?
patrons? Yeah, with the patrons.
I actually worked with my friend Ari, and oh, we just, like I said, we'd have a rail full of regulars on a Friday night, and be going back and forth with all our regulars. But we used to joke that she'd be like, "They're not very nice. Can you go take care of them?"
Wow.
If someone sat down and they weren't very nice, I was sent over to give them what's called silent service. It's not bad service, but you're just you make sure that you give them everything they need and want, but they don't get the fun side of us. That's what we would do.
Okay. This maybe speaks to a little bit to the tour, the grind. You've been around plenty long enough and on the tour at the highest level for the longest time. Is there a point where even the courses, as great as these tournaments are, and we know they're getting better, but do the courses and or the tournaments ever feel a little monotonous or dare I say stale? And which is no rip to any tournament because they're all great tournaments, but you're pretty much going to a lot of the same cities and a lot of the same courses year in and year out. Do you like it because they're good, or if they were thrown in a tumbler and we saw 18 different courses next year, would you be okay with that?
Yes, I would be fine with it.
Okay.
No, I don't. I'm getting to the point where we get to town and I'm like, I'm not using my GPS. I know this town. I know this town, or I know the city. Like locals will be like, yeah, you just go. And I'm like, oh, I know.
That's a true sign of a pro. Yep.
And I know what gas stations are at what and what food, restaurants are at what, and there's what hotels are where. And, but as far as courses go and tournaments, no, I don't know. I think, was it Elaine King who told me a long time ago? I think I was either upset with the wind or a wooded course or something. She's like, well, you're going to have to play in all different courses and all different conditions, so you better just figure it out, or something, something along the lines of if you're going to tour full time, you don't get to choose what kind of courses you like or don't like, because you're going to play all kinds of different ones in all different conditions. And that always stuck with me. So I've kind of and I felt like maybe it's a strength I have. I don't, I try not to get involved in the whining of how the courses are.
I'll say this. That is absolutely a consistent answer and a consistency of yours, and very much I feel like the highest regard and compliment is you say that week in and week out. I don't really care. If it's righty friendly or lefty friendly or whatever somebody wants to deem it, or it's long or short or wooded or the tee pads aren't great. You always say, I have to play on them just like everyone else does. And so you adapt and move on, and you're very consistent with that. And there is something about just accepting it. And I think as much as we want to see things improve, you want to see things improve, and there's polite and professional ways to maybe voice your opinions at the right time and place. But at the end of the day,
please send an email. Don't go to social media.
Okay. At the end of the day, everybody's got to play it. What, okay, I guess that goes hand in hand. You said it earlier. You're not one to take grievances either to social media. Some would say, well, hey, if we put this out in public, in front of people, that will help force change and draw attention. Yay or nay?
I don't know. Every time I've sent an email, which has been 4 times,
mm-hmm.
but I've got the answers and the change that I needed by just having an adult conversation on the phone with the person who I needed to be in contact with, I guess.
Okay.
But I also, that could be where like I said, I'm not concerned about where the signs are on a course, or my mindset is different. I'm more thinking okay, this is how the course is, so how am I going to attack it?
Yeah, you're thinking tee to pin, nothing else matters. Tee to pin is what I'm concerned about.
Right, or I don't care what time we tee, or what, I don't know. I guess I'm just not thinking about all that stuff. And there are things I care about in the sport, like, um, and I've just expressed those through emails to the correct person, and it's gone very, very well. And actually, um, Jeff Chaqua and Nate Heinold and I are closer friends because of it. I,
Mm.
um, remember there being something that I felt like they didn't see. And the only reason I wrote the emails because I know how much they care about their
Mm-hmm.
event. And I didn't want the whiners and the complainers to bring to social media this thing. So I brought it to their attention. And I feel like if you're doing that in a private way, they really respect that. Because at the end of the day, I don't think these TDs and volunteers are, even the people who are being paid at the Disc Golf Pro Tour or the PDGA are doing things maliciously to be like, ha ha ha, slip on the tee pad, like
Yeah.
we're still in this spot in the sport where we have growing pains, and maybe I just have more empathy for that and am trying to make sure that when I bring something to a complaint or critique, that it's, hey, I'm just trying to help the event, and also making sure to tell them what did go well that week.
Well, and I always feel that when someone takes something to social media like that, they are immediately taking the stance that they are correct. This is my stance, it's the right one. And there's almost no leeway with it because of the way we treat social media as a platform, as a soapbox. When you send an email, I think you're starting a conversation. Hey, and there can be give and take that way, as opposed to just standing up and saying, hey guys, this is how it should be. Convince me otherwise. And usually there's too many voices at that on social media to really make that a productive environment. And by all means, I don't necessarily think it's always the wrong idea to go to social media with things, but there are.
No, I'm not saying that. I
Correct.
just don't like to see like volunteers or TDs or tour directors or people who are working endless hours to make. And maybe it's too because I used to play in national tours that had 4 to 7 women. If we had 2 cards, it was amazing. And so I've seen the growth, and I know that there are people who put in hours behind the scenes, like hours and hours. And I think, like, man, like, do we need to be so upset that there's not bathrooms? Because actually, if you would have asked, they scheduled them to come during the practice week, and then they just never showed up, and so they had to use a different company who's bringing it the next day. Like, there's normally a reasonable explanation if you take the time to address the right person, I guess is what I'm saying. But yes, I can see where some things could be productive.
Yeah,
maybe.
there are reasons, there are platforms for everything.
Sure. On a grand
I guess I also don't like to see those people be blasted, because what I do see sometimes is someone shares that something at a tournament was bad, and then everyone jumps in and is just like, yeah, that's unacceptable, and F that tournament. And it's like, no, 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 no. Let's not go
the
there.
piling on sometimes happens.
Yeah, I hate to see that. I think that's so sad.
What again, I lean into your longevity here. What has been exciting for you? Is there anything that's really jumped out? You just mentioned the size and numbers and how many women are playing, but anything, what has it been for you over the last decade or so that keeps you fueled with excitement about our sport? And it could be, I'd love to think of an FPO perspective or an FPO thing, but maybe it doesn't have to be. Maybe it's just generic. What have you seen in all these years? You have so much more experience than most people.
I was gonna say, I wasn't thinking of it from an FPO perspective so much as, like, I was thinking more from a competitor, as far as, like, I think I am staying for so long because it's like one part of my game will get so good, and then another part suffers. So then I got to go back and work on that. And then I got new shots I want to learn. And then, but also I don't know. I do think there is a challenge now. And, I don't want to say this, like, but it was kind of for a while, Paige and I and Sarah Holcomb, at the top.
Yep.
And now we're seeing multiple winners, or a lot more movement and closer battles, and so maybe that's kind of what's driving me, is like, And I think that's really what I'm thinking about is like, there's so many women who could win every weekend. So it's even more of a reason to like work harder, put my head down, only worry about my game, what I can control. And maybe I like that challenge, I guess.
Do you, 6-time player of the year, 2-time world champ, hundreds of other wins, do you have anything to prove to anyone right now?
No, I guess not.
I mean,
and I think, I have to be honest, like to start disc golf, I just, I never did it to be like, I just loved competing, and I so enjoyed like learning all the different ways to manipulate the frisbee, and especially when I learned a roller and all those different things. But I mean, I wouldn't be mad if I had another world title after the end of this year. And to say I'm not working for that would be silly.
Of course.
I also think I just want to go out and, enjoy this season. Honestly, I know that's kind of weird to hear me say, but
I mean, is there something about this season that you get to kind of bask in the world championship? You're the world champion, and you get to you get to be that for at least another 7 months, 8 months.
Well, you'll forever be it, but you'll now defend it.
The current world champion for another 7 months. Sorry, yes,
we don't take it away come September.
All right, well, it was fun. You had
you
2, now you have 0.
You lose it. No.
So I mean, is there something enjoyable about like walking onto the course and thinking, that's cool, I'm the world champ,
2-time?
Right. Yes, I mean, that's never going to get old. And if I watch the video of the end of the round, that's maybe why I didn't want to do the rewatch. I didn't want to cry through it.
Come on.
At least you're honest. I mean, that's got to be.
I get so emotional because there were so many, things to overcome, and so many hours of hard work, and really digging deep and taking that inner look of like, okay, so why am I not playing where I want to? What's the real problem? It's something, like I said, just another reason not to worry about all those other things I can't control. But yes, I will definitely enjoy that, but also I don't know how to explain it. I'm just really excited to compete this year.
No, I mean that's awesome. You have a new sponsor. You got DGA behind you now, and you're the reigning world champion. I don't see I see no downsides at this point right now.
Do you, and I guess maybe a little bit behind the do you have anything to prove question is also the follow up is again, you're one of the most seasoned touring players, and as you said, competition is stiffer than ever. You're no longer the youngest player on the tour.
Hey, now.
I'm just going to the facts. Okay.
He's got Wikipedia up. He's just.
I'm no longer
the
thinnest reporter either. All right. So I'm just going with facts here. So you're no longer the youngest player, and that's what I partially mean as well. In your skill sets are right there clearly. That's why I say. You see an Evelina, a Henna, some of these players that are just coming up. We see, of course, the next generation, whether it's a Maria Oliva or a Macy Valadiaz and a Heather Young. I mean, clearly, these are all the next generation of contenders that are trying to come knock you off your podium. So that's why I say, do you feel like, hey, this is still Cat's time?
I mean, I think so. I think I haven't slowed down. I'm not like just over here drinking wine and watching Netflix every night.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And I also feel like, I feel like I'm probably in better shape than when I played volleyball in college. So I feel healthy, no injuries. So I would like to think that I will be right there with them.
Yeah, I'm not doubting.
Terry, I think there was. Do you remember? Let's see. We would have been either. I think it was 2020. Yeah, actually, I feel like 2020. I was throwing probably because I had right. But I like went for a par 5, I think, in 2 and got over. And I think I looked at you. I'm like, do you think these younger girls are like, oh, how does that old lady throw so far? It was Evelina and Henna on the card.
Yeah, and that's part of what I think about, you know, and I'll admit I just watched both Owen and Jen Allen, who are of master's age, playing this weekend in at Maricopa. And it's so, I think it's exciting and empowering to watch how dominant Owen can be on any given weekend. Obviously, Jen also incredibly talented and powerful, and you know nothing. Age clearly doesn't matter whatsoever when you're watching that. And then I think about all of your successes as well, and just just defending, so to speak, defending those titles and the territory that you very much have created for yourself. And that's why, I think you put it perfectly. Yeah. I'm not thinking you're slowing down, but I guess I'm just thinking about your mentality.
Well, with a 4-year contract, it doesn't sound like DGA thinks you're slowing down anytime soon either.
That too.
I guess I'm thinking too, like, let the media talk about all the young girls and I'll just sit back here and let them take all the pressure.
Okay, that's a good way to look at it.
Like, hey, here I
am. I guess I'll kind of almost even rephrase the question from before too, to go more broad, more generic about the state of disc golf and what you're seeing in terms, not necessarily just from the FPO perspective, but where disc golf, where it was when you started and where we are now. What's most exciting, that's either happened or you think is about to happen? Like, just a very broad, generic question about the state of disc golf. How do you feel about it?
The first thing that comes to mind is I used to be able to go to like Los Olivos or Vista when I first started playing, and I would be here in the off season, and I could throw as many drives as I wanted. I could putt for as long as I wanted on each basket, and I might not see another disc golfer. And now it's like, and I don't say this in a bad way, but there are some times where I've gone to Vista and for like 6 holes in a row, I've signed discs or taken pictures. And I'm like, on top of like, we're waiting, you're only throwing one. It's only like polite, I should say, to throw one drive, one putt, and then just go wait. So that obviously more people are playing. But I think, someone said this to me and I didn't really think of it like this, but
oh, you froze.
Think about.
Say that again. You just froze up real quick.
Yeah, you froze for a second. Go ahead again.
Oh, I was just saying, someone had mentioned to me how this Worlds was kind of the beginning of a new disc golf era. With the explosion that came from during COVID and after COVID, and with the Disc Golf Pro Tour and all the live coverage and everything. So it's sometimes, and maybe that's, not to bring this again, but that's why I'm not thinking of all these other problems that other people are, because I have played an NT where it's 4 rounds Saturday and Sunday, shotgun start.
Yep.
Where you maybe barely had enough time to get lunch, let alone, be upset that somebody wants an interview for 10 minutes before the tournament starts. But anyways.
Well, I don't think you'll have to worry about too many interviews before rounds this year, because if I'm correct, you guys might be going back to morning rounds this year. So
I've been going after the gym to putt and practice and kind of just get out there at the not so fun temperatures, because I did also hear that rumor.
Yeah, nothing's confirmed, but that is where things are leaning, I heard. So will it take you a while to adjust? I mean, we just had 1 year one way, 1 year another way, 1 year. Will you start your routine like, guess what? Instead of going to the gym first thing in the morning, I'm going to get up and putt, and then start to shift your gym time to the afternoon, because you're a religious, no offense, gym rat. Like you
and morning person.
Yeah, and morning person.
Normally I just get up 3 hours before the round starts and just, because what I did this last year was I would go to the gym early enough, like at least 5 hours before my round, so I could be, I'm not like like deadlifting or cleaning like hundreds of pounds or anything crazy. I'm just getting a run in and get moving and not just sitting around. But anyways, and then 3 hours before my round, I had a nice routine where I would eat and, get ready and do whatever. But I also, we did have morning rounds, and Worlds was actually morning-ish. Well, I think 10:30, something like that.
Do you have a preference? I mean, I know you've made all these adjustments, and I know you'll show up when you need to show up. But if someone said, what is the perfect time for Katrina Allen to tee off, what time would you say?
I would probably say morning, but you want to know that my favorite time to play disc golf is like as the sun's going down.
Okay.
Best time in the world to play.
Those are also tough times to film live disc golf.
Okay.
No, I'm with you.
That's not going to work.
No, I'm fine with that.
We just got to get more lights.
I like.
Let's talk to Todd.
I like the sunset rounds myself. Give me those
Friday night lights. That'll be our new.
But an hour before dusk. That's perfect.
All right. So one of the other posts that I saw recently, besides DGA, it sounds like you've also picked up a bag sponsor. Is that what I saw? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, they even added a bow to the Squatch icon.
Nice. Perfect.
It was honestly a similar conversation with Sean and Tony. Just like being like, hey, disc golf comes first, being an athlete comes first. If you guys are okay with that, and kind of like we were talking about, I might even actually delete social media for like 2 weeks if there's like a grind or like Worlds or something like that, so I can just stay focused. And I kind of was like, are you guys okay with that? Obviously the bag's going to be on coverage if I play well and things like that. And they said, yeah, we love it. We love the hard work. We want to support you, and we'd be honored to have you carry our bags. And we got some fun stuff in the works that we'll be able to announce sometime soon. But I just felt like it aligned with DGA, and I just feel even more support now. And like I said, I love that I can just focus on being Kat and feel supported on the course.
Clearly you're answering what would be the question about bags versus carts, because carts are becoming more popular. What is it with you aligning with a bag sponsor, whether it's Squatch or anyone? Why bag versus cart when we're seeing the popularity of carts increase?
That's so funny. I don't even think about carts.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
I mean, there are no carts that are a sponsor of this program.
But I feel like I would get frustrated with it on certain courses and roll it into a lake or something. I'll just put these discs under my arm.
Or push it off a cliff. Like, I'm not carrying you up this hill.
Speaking of on the course stuff, one of the things you are most famous for is doing something during the downtime, sitting around. You've done crossword puzzles in the past, phone games. What are you hooked on right now? What are we going to see you? Are you going to have your nose buried in a crossword puzzle book? Is it going to be in your phone? What's the game of choice right now for you to keep your mind off the golf?
Yeah, crossword is always. In fact, even if I'm guilty of we're waiting in the fairway on a par 4 for a long, maybe they're trying to make a call or a lost disc or something, and I'll just go straight to the crossword because my mind's like, what is taking so long? That is one thing that I wonder about me in disc golf is I am not the most patient person when it comes to when I clearly see that it should be going quicker, anyways.
How do you feel about the 30-second rule?
I was
8 seconds is plenty. Come on.
All right, perfect. So
I don't think we're going to see a trim to that, but would you like to see 30 seconds maybe a little bit more, I don't want to just say enforced, but a little bit tighter around what 30 seconds really is?
I did this is something I did actually talk to someone about, because now we've introduced rangefinders, which is great for lots of reasons, unless you're already not a quick player.
It adds another step to their process, you know.
Which they can do. Just do it before it's your turn to throw.
Yes,
like, it's such an easy fix. Well, Kat is throwing. You stand somewhere near your frisbee. Yeah, do the math. Like, that to me is such an easy fix. And yes, as a cameraman, and I get to watch how much time things take, just like you, Kat, probably, I then get very frustrated. I'm a big fan. Bushnell, I love you. Thanks for the support. But
no, I agree. I do think there's a better way to be using, like you said, there's, you know,
when
stand next to a tree, Bushnell the basket, then when you get to your lie, I don't subtract how far you are from the tree. I don't know. I guess I'm also a field player. I probably or like, I'm always in practice thinking like, okay, well, that tree's on par 4. So you're like, okay, if I get to that tree, I'm throwing a driver. If I don't get past that tree, I can't attack across the lake or the OB or whatever. So,
and maybe it's a generational thing, because I'm sure Terry and I and you are probably all the same way, where it's like, where you look at it and you say, all right, you know what? If I subtract, hey, look, from here, I'm 330 from the basket, but my disc is up there 20 feet, about 30 feet up there, so I'm going to be 300 from. Does the extra 5 to 10 feet you might be off really matter? It was, for some people, it might.
You've got bigger problems in life if you can't. If you can't.
But if you grew up, we'll say some of these younger players, always knowing the exact distance, and if you're good enough to be able to dial in that exact distance, or close enough to that exact distance, I can almost understand, but I still don't agree with it. But
I'll say it for Kat. Hurry the F up, people.
Yeah.
All right. That's what Kat's thinking. I'll say it because I can.
Just put it a sign on you. Somebody asked on the board, with you being a crossword puzzle person, have you jumped on the Wordle bandwagon? Are you
Wordling?
Wordle, the web, the little, all the green and yellow dots on social media you're seeing?
Or not seeing, maybe?
Okay.
Nope.
All right.
Oh, you got to get on it, Kat. Come on.
I can't, because
it's
I don't
once a
have
day.
any games on my phone except for the crossword, and I do the crossword actually as I go to bed. It's like
New York Times crossword?
I do the USA Today first, and if I get through, sometimes I'll get through it and not fall asleep, so then I will go to the New York Times. But
yeah, I've got the New York Times ones on, and I like it because they've got the full 7 days. They get harder, but then you've got these quick 5 question, or 5x5 puzzles for crossword.
Yep.
Those are the ones I like. That's just like the real quick ones. That's the one I'll do right before bed, and I tend to see how fast I can do it. Like, I got that one in like a minute and 12 seconds. Like, that's not good. Oh well, guess I'm gonna go to bed a loser tonight.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Don't they? I heard it's really good for your mind to do before you go to bed. So.
Yeah, Terry.
Like, I think for like Alzheimer's and things like that.
That's okay, Terry.
I'm also not a doctor or a scientist, so don't.
Nor are we. I'm drinking.
I helped my daughter with her Wordle, my 10-year-old with her Wordle just before leaving today. So I could see you jumping on it because they just release one a day. Is that how it works?
It's one a day. It's a web page you go to, and it's just.
It could take you a minute or two. It could take you 5 minutes.
It's like a 5. It basically, real quick, 5 letters. It's one 5-letter word. You guess a word. If you have the letter in the right position, it's green. If you have the right letter in the wrong position, it's yellow. If you play the old game Mastermind, as I want to say as a kid, but with all the little colored pegs, it's very similar. And then you have to rearrange words till you get the right word. So
you'd love
it. I have heard of this. Yeah. I think someone showed me it. I haven't. I haven't done it, but okay. I was thinking it was like an app that where like I would get addicted, and instead of going to the gym, I would just
no. You can only play it once a day, thankfully. And actually, I heard the New York Times just bought the application, so you probably, if you have the New York Times app or something, you'll see it in your thing shortly, I'm sure. But it'll
cool.
It's a quick hit for you.
Very quick.
I've also been speaking of games. Someone tells me, I'm not going to say who, your social media director, says that you guys played a little silly challenge video, and I'm going to bust you out. His words. He said you seemed a little nervous about it. Is this? Did he have a chance to beat you? What was the apprehension? I mean, you can't get beat by Tyler. I mean, don't spoil the outcome or anything. But this is some of the content you guys are able to put together, and we could expect more of.
Yeah, I think so. We definitely did do like a little challenge, and Tyler. So there'll be some shenanigans in the middle of the game, and
Perfect.
yeah, it was good.
Is there anything, we'll say, out of the ordinary, something that somebody that would like raise an eyebrow that we'll see from you in 2022, whether it's an event or a trip or even a break from events or anything like that? Is there anything that would seem out of the ordinary to a hardcore disc golf fanatic or fan?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. No.
Okay. I mean, that's the stock fair answer. But I always want to ask. And what is your touring look like this year?
Same grind, 25 events, or
maybe a few
events?
less like filler tournaments.
Okay.
Like if there's a lull in the tour where it's kind of like there's 2 or 3 weeks where it's like you could play this B tier or A tier on the way. I got an apartment back in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and so I'll be spending some more time there, being able to hang out with my girlfriends and family and stuff like that. And then I'll get to go back to Tut Hill with my DGA discs where I used to throw them and have some fun.
And what does touring look like for you? You in Austin this year? Is that mainly camper, RV? Is that trucks? What does that kind of look like for you without giving us every detail?
What's your license plate?
Yeah.
I was trying to think of the car that the PDGA Rodman guy on social media put when he to talk.
I don't think I saw that one.
What car he put in the post?
Like a Fiesta or something like that. No, or is that a different post? Maybe I don't remember.
But no, we'll for the most part we'll be in the truck and trailer, like in the Midwest and the South. But if we're on the West Coast or the Northeast, we'll probably do hotels and just be in my car.
Okay.
But like the Texas swing will be in the truck and trailer, and Midwest and all those things. But yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Same old.
I mean, hey, it seems to be working for you. You keep racking up event wins, world titles, player of the year. I mean, all of that, it seems to be paying off just fine for you. Is there anything else you want to share with the world here tonight? We appreciate your time, and we know it's getting late for you, and you've got an early gym time. But is there anything?
I kind of feel like almost, weird. I've been up for so long. Like kind of goofy, like you would get at sleepovers when you're a little kid.
Little delirious cat. Okay. Mama cat, we know.
Let's keep her on. Let's see how crazy it gets.
Now.
I was just going to say, now let's get to the real good stuff. No, anything you want to share with the world, shout outs, accolades, thanks, sponsors, all of that. We'll give you a moment here for you to share all that.
No, I mean, I'd obviously, I am really excited to play for DGA. A lot of people have reached out to me about just welcome me to the team or to the DGA community, or do you need this or all that stuff, and that's meant a lot. And then there's just been so many kind comments about my work ethic and how hard I work, and nice things about like, you're a true athlete and things like that. And that means the world to me because I do put so much time into trying to be, a complete athlete and show that to the disc golf world. And so that means the world to me. It keeps me going, gets me up at 5 every morning. And then my mom's my biggest fan, so I doubt she's watching because she goes to bed earlier than I do. And I think Tyler did say he was going to watch, so I should have probably been better behaved, but
he's out there.
He's been on. I think he's under the DGA disc golf moniker tonight.
Probably.
So it's one of the things about getting bigger as a sport and doing more segmented broadcasts, the position I'm in, I used to be able to sit and watch the chat board, and it was one of my favorite things to see your mom come on and just glow about you. And I don't get to do that anymore. I can't watch the chat and do all the things we need to do anymore. So it's kind of sad. But your mom has always, I mean, clearly been one of your biggest supporters, and I loved seeing her on the chat, because not sometimes, much like you, she was a lot of fun, but she put her foot down when she needed to.
Oh, she told me. This guy said you were fat in all the right places, and I said I was your mom, and he still didn't take it back.
Yeah, I mean, we hate to laugh at those jerks, but yeah,
we're not laughing at them. We're laughing at mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, we're laughing at mom. And no, and you know, of course. Austin has been, you know, obviously he's my boyfriend. I love him, but also just a huge support through all of this, all the changes and all the, you know, he was right there with me for my world title and puts up with my crazy schedule and going.
Is Austin a morning guy? Is he getting up with you at 5 to go to the gym, or is he? Are you waking him up when you get home?
Yes, we are opposites. He could I could get up at 4 a.m. and do my laundry and pay my bills and run errands and, you know, go to the gym, do that practice. And I feel like he could do that at like midnight.
Okay,
So,
yeah, he's more on my schedule.
yeah.
I know how that goes.
Yeah.
Well, Kat,
no, and just thank you guys for having me. And
always.
Yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm really excited about this season, and yeah, I'm just really grateful for all the support.
well, it is very much deserved that you get all the support that you do, and as you said, your work ethic, I don't feel like is matched by anyone else in our sport, and it's awesome to see. And then to see it pay off the way it does, should be inspiring for so many more. It's awesome to see, and we're looking forward to another year, 2022.
Yeah.
Another year of you out there being in the conversation every single weekend and vying for a title. It's second nature to me because I've been watching this all of your career, but it doesn't make it any less exciting. So we're looking forward to another great year. And, of course, thank you for joining us tonight.
All right. Good night, everyone.
All right. Have a good night, Kat. See ya.
Guys.
Congrats. Thank you.
Course.
2-time world champ, 6-time player of the year, Katrina Allen.
Yeah, so she's reigning player of the year and reigning world champ.
One helps the other probably a little bit, but yes.
Enough.
Yeah,
certainly. Gives you that bump, certainly.
Yes, so awesome. Of course, thank you to DGA Disc Golf out there, Tyler and Cruitt. Wait, I didn't see that super chat. Okay, no, I'm just waiting on that to come through. But yeah, thank you so much. And
well, he's
great
logged
to
in.
get some...
If Tyler's logged in as the DGA Disc Golf account, then super chats galore. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
just
company
get at
money.
It. Just get at
Scott
it.
Kesey approved it. I just
He
texted
did.
him. Whatever that number goes up to, DGA.
Yes, he said he is totally good with it. Whatever your PDGA number is, you can just match that.
Match that for super
And if he asks any questions and says, "Did I approve that?" You just have one word that you have to reply to him with. Flickas. Flickas. That's the only word. I'm going to leave it there. Just flickas is the only word you need. All right? That'll be our little secret and the rest of the world. So, again, thank you so much to Kat for joining us. Other stuff we want to get into here in the regular show, Johnny? Do you got anything to bring up? Well, thank you for the super chat, DGA. I'm not going to comment on that.
Not a lot. I mean, there's obviously you're it's been kind of the slow season. We're getting ready for the All-Star event. We've seen some announcements as far as, you know, when the drafting is going to be. That's going to be live on Thursday. The actual event is going to be, I think, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
There's always social media hubbub. I saw a big comment, and we had Madison on last week talking about her new sponsorship with MVP and what she had planned on doing, and she went ahead and did it. You know, she went to social media and said, "Hey guys, I'm looking for these particular discs. Right now, MVP, you know, doesn't have what I'm looking for available because, you know, it's
just not in stock.
A global pandemic, labor shortages, most demand ever in a year, that they don't have everything she's looking for." And I saw, you know, some people were giving flack her, to MVP, to all these things. And we kind of discussed it last week. I think it's uncalled for and unfounded in today's day, in today's environment, that there was enough backlash or flack about it from a lot of different people that it was a little
just short-sighted.
It was a little disheartening and short-sighted from some people because they're not thinking. It feels like, and again, I don't want to get into a whole social media thing. It feels like people just want to start trash just to start trash.
Well, and here's some irony. Just moments ago, Katrina told us. She said, "Thank you. It's been welcoming and great. So many people have reached out and asked if I need certain discs." Mm-hmm. So it's literally the exact same thing in that somebody's offering to help in case there's a hole or a void in what she's looking for. And so it's the same concept of, hey, we're welcoming you, and you're new to some of this plastic and stuff. In case you don't have everything you want, here's something I can offer. It's really the exact same thing as Madison saying, hey, I'm new to this team, and I may have a hole or two in something that's not easily available. Can somebody help out and possibly send me something, and I'll catch you on the back end? Like, it's just funny to me because Kat just happened to say that minutes ago that people offered that.
A lot of players that have switched sponsors are looking for,
and to be fair,
are looking for discs.
And to be fair, we also often see, look at a lot of our top players' bags. A lot of those discs get recycled. You see people with like a big germ stamp on it that's being thrown, and it's a Prodigy disc being thrown by obviously someone on Team Prodigy, and so on and so forth. So my point is, heck, just a couple weeks ago at the Shelley Sharp, in the middle of the round, Austin Hannum was handing off a few forces.
That was in your video.
In my video. That's my point. He was handing off a few forces over to Adam Hammis. They're obviously not doing Austin any good, and Hammis is always looking to pick up a couple more sweet forces. Like, this is so incredibly common anyway. So the fact that somebody or some people wanted to take that situation and then blow it into some massive negative that it's really not is, of course, as you said, disheartening. And just like I dealt with some not so friendly D-bags on the internet today, you just put your head down and you think, man, why do you have to be so rude and so mean, and you can't just move on? But people, you have to let it be known just how displeased you are, regardless of the situation. I get it. Everyone, the stock answer is it's the internet, and it is
kind of, yeah.
It's also anonymity and a bunch of faceless pricks, lots of times. But anyway, I'm not gonna get into.
Oh, jeez.
Wow. Yeah. All right, I promise I'm not going to get worked up. I'm not going to get worked up. I
know I had to hold you back when she was talking about the Bushnell and timing and things like that. I was thinking like, oh geez, this is a Terry sweet spot right here.
It's just get your range finding done. JDX 911 says I'm fired up. I'm not. There's just a few
simmer down, Terry.
Buttons that occasionally get pressed. We did just for overall, I don't know, I guess this isn't record keeping, but I did reach out to Adam Hammis. He said tonight was not good for him. He was super busy. I don't know if he's doing some walleye.
He's washing his hair.
No, here's the weird part where I didn't quite believe him. He said he was ice fishing this tonight. Oh.
I mean, Terry, it is clearly cold enough out to ice fish.
Unless you're in Arizona.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, Adam, you didn't trick me with that one.
Hey, maybe he brings his own ice with him.
No, but Adam, in all seriousness, Adam did say tonight was just a super busy night, so he wasn't going to be able to join us. But on the FPO side, I would have also extended a welcome to her. The problem is we just talked to her. Nothing's new with Jen Allen, except for she's winning again. So I did not offer to bring in Jen Allen because literally just a couple of weeks ago we had her. But congratulations, of course, to her for her victory this weekend over there in Maricopa. And maybe I did this in reverse order and spoiled it on you. But tomorrow I will be releasing the final 9.
Spoiler alert.
Exactly. Spoiler alert 5 minutes ago. But seriously, tomorrow I'll be releasing the final 9. A huge shout out. That is only was captured because Curtis Van Slyke, after winning MA40, then picked up one of my extra cameras while I was out filming the MPO, and he went and filmed the finals of the FPO. So only because of him and the rock star that he clearly is, wins the tournament and then goes in and films. He got the final 9. I got it all edited together last night, did the commentary today, and you guys will see that tomorrow. So you can watch how that concluded. She didn't have a Holland Hanley to try and get past this year, but she did have 12 other women in the field.
What a nice field.
So a very, very solid field out there in Maricopa. So, all right, real quick, let's then just touch on Maricopa. I think I can just probably, I got it up. What do you know? So I'll read some of the details.
You do it, Terry. I'm going to sit and listen to you.
If you didn't already watch the coverage, here comes some spoilers. Adam Hammes, your champion, ultimately shooting 12 down, taking home $1,200. A super solid performance, and another fun video coming from this guy as well. Luke Sampson in second. Aaron Gossage had the hot round during the final day and catapulted himself up into third. And then the beloved AB, Anthony Barella, finishing in fourth. So congratulations to those top 4.
And I'm sure a lot of people have seen the big eagle shot that Adam Hammes threw over the water. The guy in purple knew right away.
Yes, he did.
So if you haven't, go check that out on Terry's social media. There's a phenomenal shot by Adam.
Yes, that's available for you guys. On the FPO side, as I just mentioned, Jen Allen, your champion, playing some really solid golf out there. Average, wow, real quick, 1,005, 980, 1,000. What is that? That's got to be like 990 something as an average. Holy
Jen
cow.
Allen, yeah.
Wow. I want to do the math on that.
I'll say what a turnaround Jen has had from what we saw her do the same event last year, where she was having
that was 2 years, or that was Shelly Sharp.
Shelly Sharp, but
similar time frame.
2 years or a year ago, where she was having some putting issues, and you could see the frustration in her, and her scores showed it. But she's clearly turned it around, and she is on. Well, honestly, it sounds crazy. With scores like that, I'd be filling up my gas tank and getting ready to go on tour.
Yeah, well, if you catch her interview at the end of the tournament, you'll hear all about it, so I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay, well, got Terry off mic. Will you tell
She
me?
averaged 995 on the weekend, so solid play by Jen Allen. Callie McMorrin second, Owen Scoggins in third, Maria Oliva in fourth. And then there was Age Protected and a bunch of other great people. Rex Rogers shot really well. I'm not going to read all the champions, but Rex did win in MP 50 by shooting really good golf as well throughout the weekend. So big thanks, of course, Infinite Disc and the Dish Shack, your presenting and major sponsors, title sponsors there, but Sam and Chuck, and then some of my favorite. I don't often stay with people, but when I do, it's with Hav and Amy Jo. And Grand Rapids Transplants about 10 or 11 years ago, and lived down in Maricopa, and every year for the past 5 or 6 years now have put me up. And there's usually some gatherings and festivities happening at their house. People come over, everybody's kind of recapping their day and their round. There's old Tear Bear just sitting in the kitchen table editing while everyone else is partying, and I wouldn't want it any other way. Well, I would love to socialize more, but just thank you guys so much for an awesome weekend. Pat, Yuli's mom picked me up from the airport, and I say it all the time, and I'm going to repeat it for the 100th time. Arizona Disc Golf treats me so incredibly well, and I'm so honored to come there and be part of events like the PLO, the Shelly Sharp, the Maricopa. In a couple weeks, we'll have the Memorial. I can't say it enough. I really do appreciate all of you guys. And I'll share a little tiny bucket list item now.
Come on, Terry. Come on.
This is a tiny one that I just thought of a few weeks ago because of my love for Arizona Disc Golf.
Bucket list idea?
Bucket list is maybe a strong. But I did put it on the list. I want to run a tournament in Arizona. And I'd get some help from from some of the people I'm sure I just mentioned. But
what city?
I don't know yet. I don't know if it'd be a course I'm very familiar with, like all those I just named, or if it would be a new place that I haven't either.
Go to like Tucson or
I haven't been
Phoenix.
to Tucson. Obviously we were in Flagstaff for the 03 and the 05 Worlds. They got Pro Masters Worlds there next year. I don't know where it would be, or the format, but I think I'd like to run a tournament there, and I'd probably lean on a few people for a little bit of help, and I think it'd be fun. I like running tournaments, and it seems like a good place to do it.
That's right. Okay.
So I'm going to just force myself on you guys even more.
I mean, sorry, Arizonaites. Yeah. If he's already been run out of Pennsylvania.
Yes, I've run
Illinois,
tournaments there. Yeah, run
Wisconsin.
There. Yeah. The border, Minnesota. I don't know if
never Minnesota. I don't think never Michigan, but
yeah. Either way,
I'm just saying we've run him out of a few states, and now he's got to go to Arizona.
One way or another. But anyway, thank you. Great event, and appreciate all of you guys. All right. I think that is it on this last weekend. Upcoming weekend, not as much going on. I already lamented about not being in Thailand.
Correct. The only thing
you mentioned, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the only thing going on this weekend, there's an AM A tier in Georgia, the Zanville Premier Tour, the International DG Center by Innova. But other than that, there's a B tier, the Wintertime Open AM weekend over in Pasadena. So, but this is kind of I'll say the quiet before the storm of disc golf starts.
Yeah. Jackie Chen is coming over from Taiwan, and he'll be out there in the event at La Mirada this weekend. And I know some people had their eyes on that to see him come and compete. Of course,
I hope someone's recording that. Is anyone recording that?
I don't believe
Central Coast
so.
Or anybody.
There was a talk about me trying
Bobby
to get
Music
out there.
back on. Wow, that guy.
Well, he lives across.
I understand that, but he still has been vanished. Bobby Music is one of the guys, that everybody kind of had a huge prediction for that when he was gonna go on a tour, and then he kind of stepped back away from the tour. So I'm really excited. We got Brian Vaggi, Bradley Williams, Jackie Chen, Chris Pinegar, Clint Calvin. Amazing. Yeah. Gosh, I really hope someone films that. Somebody film that for me. I'll watch that. I don't watch much golf. But we're getting closer to the season, so I'm going to start watching a little bit.
Looking forward to it, and unfortunately, what we're seeing is this little lull that's going to take place right after the All-Star weekend, because that's when Disc Golf Con was originally scheduled. That's been officially postponed until what we presume to be next year. So, and then of course we kick right into Las Vegas, and then the madness, ensues from there. So All-Star weekend coming up next weekend, and next week I'm going to give you a little tease. A woman who has more world titles than Katrina even.
I know of about 4 of them.
Okay, well, this woman is also recently signed with a new sponsor. We announced that and had that as part of our...
That limits it to 1.
That also, she has transitioned over to a new sponsor. And so, of course, I'm talking about Des Redding. She is officially penciled in to join us next week. She's got some exciting new news. I can't break any more of it, but she's going to have some exciting stuff for us.
Flavored discs.
She'll be one of our guests next week.
Mint discs that taste like mint.
I mean, that's a no-brainer. Yeah.
If you can't lick your discs between throws,
I'm not gonna say anything at all.
I was very careful about that. Anyway, all right, cool.
So look for Des Redding as one of our guests next week. Okay. I think that's about all we have for a regular show, unless you've got any other topics of concern that are, I don't want to say important enough, but are relevant enough for...
I guess all I'll say now before we end the primary show is if you're interested in Skip Ace, by all means, please reach out. The only hurdle that we've had has been international billing. So for credit cards and such,
My Swiss bank accounts.
Yeah, your Swiss bank account is not going to work. Canadian and European. It's funny when you go to a credit card company and you say, "Hey, I want to, use your service." Authorize.net is the one that we use for, and they're like, "Cool, what's your business?" And you're like, "Fantasy sports." They immediately
that goes real well.
They immediately take 2 steps back and go, "Whoa, what do you mean by that?" And you're like, "Well, we do this and this," and they're like, "Okay. We'll approve you, but be very careful because you're walking a very thin line." So they did not allow international credit card transactions. we are working on that, and we hope to get it set up soon. But for now, if you're having an issue and you're someone in Canada, which we've done kind of on the side, just PayPal me, reach out to me. We can get it worked out. But it's been a very, very, very good reception. I'm really excited. I've actually listened to some new podcasts that I hadn't listened to before because they were running skip-based leagues, and they were talking about drafts. Last night, I got together with Dixon Jowers, Robert McCall, Nas and Jad from Hitting the Line, Evan from Stat Mando, Darren LeMay from Ulta World, and we did a mock draft with the 6 of us. And that's going to be, I just finished rendering it tonight, and that's going to go out probably as an audio podcast on Smashbox as like kind of a bonus thing. And there'll be a video out on the Skip Ace YouTubes. So if you want to kind of listen, let me tell you this. If you want to listen to 6 nerdy disc golfers, one by one, talk about disc golfers and why they think one is better than another, by all means, please tune in.
Wow.
And yeah, if you love fantasy, that's all I can say. I want to say thank you to everybody who has signed up and registered and playing. It's getting a much, I don't want to say better, but it is getting such a good reception, and I can't thank everybody enough. It's really exciting to see this grow the way it is. So it's nothing but love for everybody out there. And if you need anything, please just be like everybody else and just ping me. Just message me. I will get back to you. Really, I've got nothing better to do during the day.
Yeah, I bet. Just you and the fantasies.
Just me and the fantasy.
All day long.
Yep. Tell
Clicking
me, what's
buttons.
your fantasy? Woo!
Simmer down, Luda.
Ludicrous.
All right. Well, let's close out the regular show. Of course, in the after show, maybe one of the most exciting parts. Ooh, got to get this shout out in. True Flight Collective. I did talk to them and hung out a little bit this weekend doing some commentary and whatnot.
What is True Flight Collective? I don't think I know.
Yeah, they are a great group that said, hey, we'd like to support a little bit of what you got going on. This weekend, of course, as I mentioned, brought to you by the Disc Shack along with Infinite Disc, and True Flight was working with myself and Nick Newton, who joined me on commentary for the first 2 rounds, and we got a couple of different discs. And our winner tonight, I'm giving some of these away on the Disc Golf Guy video blogs, but also I decided to bring one of them to our Smashies tonight. So our winner tonight will have their choice of one of 2 different discs that are coming in from True Flight Collective. So I want to give a big shout out to Garrett and along with Nick Newton, the whole crew over there.
I really like the way this plastic feels.
Yeah, it does feel
nice and tacky.
Yes, it feels good. Looks like we've got a pig, and the other option is a.
It looks like some sort of rock.
Yeah, no, it says MX 3500. So little Prodigy action for you.
Oh, that's a Prodigy one. Okay,
Right. So
I don't know
anyway,
Prodigy as well.
We'll give you guys some options for who our winner is tonight. So. Guys, we're going to close it out. We got to thank you for joining us. Stick around the after show. We talk about random things. Sometimes it's disc golf related. Sometimes it's not. I watched a few things. Maybe I could talk about
let's
that.
talk about
I watched just a couple of things.
Let's talk
that
about
I can share
Terry's
with the world.
watching habits.
Yes. Not all of my watching habits, just some of them on a plane. Thank you, Southwest. We got to thank,
I've seen
of course,
people watch weird things on planes. So
our 2-time world champ, Katrina Allen. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thanks for giving us some insight and backstory and your plans here for 2022. Best of luck with your new sponsor in DGA. For Johnny V and myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, that's been podcast 388. We're going to stand down for just a few moments, but then come on back for the after show. We'll see you then when you step inside the Smashbox.
Thank you to our $2 and above patrons. Your name is listed below in the credits. If you are interested in being listed as a producer in the SmashBoxxTV credits and supporting this and other fine podcasts, please visit patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxxTV's podcast 388's After Show. Here we are. It's the After Show. We should have a formal disclaimer.
No.
Or is it just better for me to shoot it off the hip of every week here in the After Show, we talk about disc golf-related subjects sometimes, and largely we let it go anywhere else from there. Yeah. There's no formal agenda. Is that the best way to put it? And anything goes. And we have a giveaway. Speaking of which, I'll get
that
should be enough to keep you around.
Get that ready.
We do have a giveaway that is for all of our Patreon supporters and subscribers. If you support us in any way, shape, or form monetarily on Patreon, that makes you eligible. That's patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV. So that's out of the way. But
and thank you to the gentleman out there who just said he just joined the Patreon, Matthew Shaw. So thank you. You will be eligible tonight because I'm going to pull the list now. Sometimes I pull it before the show. Not usually, but a lot of times I pull it after the show. So we're going to do that right now.
Wow. Up to date. Wow. Up to date.
And just so everybody knows, for the Patreon supporters that are at the $3 level and above, we are all set with the artwork and everything, and that's going out to the disc manufacturer that we are choosing. We're going to keep that a surprise till you get it, like we have every year. And once we get that stuff going, it should be good. And these are technically the 2021 discs, not the 2022. We do everything at the end of the year. So if you're a $3 supporter and you're telling me, I didn't get it 2021, and you're going to be getting the 2021 disc. So just so everybody's aware.
Yes, excited to do that, and thank you guys for supporting us again at any level. And I piggyback right on that and say thank you to the new additional supporters I've gotten over at Patreon for the Disc Golf Guy post-production world that I live in as well on any given week or weekend. So thank you guys. All right. With that, I was going to say, again, the times I reserve to consume or download anything and watch anything via usually Netflix, which I think just went up again.
The prices did go up.
They're gonna get dumped real quick.
No, they're not.
By me, yeah.
No, they're not.
I did watch, and I was gonna say I don't think I have anything too exciting to report on. I believe there was many of you know, I'm a big stand-up comedian connoisseur. And so I think there was maybe something that auto fed in that I didn't mind was Jim Gaffigan. He had, I think, a special that was, well, I guess everything's really still technically from 2021 pretty much. But he had a special that I watched. There's a subsection in there where he goes off about children and kids. And I am absolutely going to cue that up and play that for my 10 and 13-year-olds. That I thought was very pointed, and I know they will find humor in it because a lot of what Jim said mimicked and mirrored some sentiment that I've given to my children as well. So
he's very popular with the family.
Yes, he's a pretty clean comic, and
he comes to Milwaukee every year on New Year's usually because his wife, I believe, is from the Milwaukee area, and so he's got in-laws, and he comes here for that. So a lot of people, although I have not been one of them, have come to see him. I don't dislike him. I don't love him enough where I would go spend a New Year's Eve or around that to see him.
Yeah.
And if I were to get tickets, by no means would I not go. I would definitely go check it out. But it's just not. I like stand-up comedians quite a bit actually. But it's probably not my thing to go see Jim Gaffigan.
You wouldn't commit to the New Year.
I wouldn't commit ahead of time. And they sell it really fast around here too, by the way. Like you have to be really quick.
I was trying to read through. I had a couple.
Tim, I'm going to give you about 30 seconds on the board to gloat about your Bengals.
You get to do it once every few decades.
Every few decades,
So bask in it.
It's today and in 1990 with Icky Woods.
Yeah,
so
the Icky Shuffle's coming.
Come on, we get some Icky Shuffle going here. Congratulations to the Bengals, by the way, and the fans. As a Packer fan, I understand where you're coming from because, in the early 90s, that's where we were. We had spent 2 decades of mediocre football, and we have been blessed for the last 30 years, it feels like. So I do understand the feeling a little bit, not quite as much as you do, because those my first 12 to 13 years of my life where I was a Packer fan and they didn't do well, didn't really matter much. I can't imagine having to live through that through like the real time of my life. So awesome, great job to the Bengals. Way to take down the juggernauts of the Chiefs and the Rams as well, getting into the Super Bowl. I can say
the Bengals and the Rams. Is that what you just said?
Who?
The Bengals and the Rams?
Thank you. The Bengals and the Rams.
Did I say Bengals?
You said Bengals. I mean, we're not walking like an Egyptian here. It's the
That's
Bengals.
immediately what I was starting to think of, too.
I know. That's all anybody thinks of. The Bengals and the Rams are in the Super Bowl, so congratulations. And I'm happy. I'm going to be a Bengals fan. That's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a Bengals fan. As of last weekend, once the Packers lost, I became a Bengals fan. I'll be the Bengals fan for another 2 weeks, and then I'm going to throw away my stripes.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm obviously just a fringe fan or follower of football as it is, but once the Packers were out, then it's hard for me to remain excited. I mean,
for sure.
Best of luck and all that good old fun stuff to you guys, but
Tom Brady announced his retirement today, officially.
I was going to say, is it official?
It is official. A couple days ago, there was rumors that he was looking at it. I think something had probably leaked and got to the press, but he came out with like, no, I'm still thinking about it. And then today it was like, no, you're right. I can't dedicate myself to this 100% like I want to. I'm bailing out of here. Peace out. Thanks for thanks for all the fish. So,
okay, well, pretty crazy. What was that stat that he's won more playoff games than
anybody has played in that's currently in the NFL, I think.
Oh, I thought it was, yeah. Okay, I thought it was something about more than certain franchises or something as well.
Oh, yeah, 100%. He's won more playoff games than certain franchises have played. So.
Crazy. All right. Ryan Pilcher is out there on the board. PDGA Champions Cup sold out all of their VIP passes already 3 months before the event. You love to see it. Certainly.
God, we are going to run into a problem.
A whole new set of problems?
A whole new set of quote unquote good problems to have, where people are not going to be able to get tickets to go see this, and there's going to be a secondary market. Just like discs at this point.
Yep, you can follow them on Dollar Disc Golf Auction. I've got tickets for sale there.
So, as much as this is the dream. People attacked Steve Dodge when he started doing things like this and quote unquote charging for volunteers. This is the regular now. Like it's amazing what has come, and we are going to run into an inflection point because if things are selling out in minutes or hours, what does that say in supply and demand?
Mm-hmm.
That the price is too low. You got to start bumping up that price, and then you've got issues where do you become a sport where quote unquote only, and I'm going to throw it in quotes, the wealthy can afford to go to these events, much like we'll say traditional golf events. If you start charging $150 for a spectator pass, I don't know what they went for. I didn't look. I can't go anyway, so I don't really care. I'll be recording and filming it and pushing buttons here. But at what point, I mean, Terry, as someone who 20 plus years ago took macro and microeconomics,
yes.
If they sell out that fast, shouldn't we be raising the price? If you want to maximize your value out of this.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
and that might not be what the tour wants or needs, but in theory, cool, you sell out, you raise prices.
Yeah, and I feel like as capitalistic as I love to be with so many things, there is a certain beauty that we as a sport, yes, we're getting to this next level of professionalism and of spectatorship and all those other things. There's a certain appeal and intrigue to all of that, and so many things that come as a result of direct benefit from it. However, I also love the idea, like it drives me insane to think about someone going to AmFam Park, I almost called it Miller Park, of course, AmFam Field down the road from where we live, or going to Lambeau or any other, of course, professional sporting event, and it's $16 for a popcorn, and it's, all these crazy prices for beer and beverages, and the parking is $20 or $25 to get in for the day, or $30 or $50 or whatever it is. All of the professional sporting events, I'd love to see this happy middle ground where there is a fee associated without it getting to quote unquote your mainstream fees.
You would love to see it because you're not paying it.
Well, no,
because
I'm saying
you're in the media and you get to basically show a badge and bypass everything. They've got a spot for you. They've got a massage table for Terry Miller, literally your own table just for Terry Miller.
It says Terry. No one else.
No one else can use it.
It's extra reinforced.
I wasn't going there.
Yeah, whatever. Don't call me fat.
If someone uses it, you have the right to kick them.
Yes,
but if you're a TD and you're thinking, oh, gosh, I could make an extra $10,000 by just bumping up ticket prices by $12. It's just $12 a person. I mean, really, if you're willing to pay $60, you're willing to pay $72. And I'm just making those numbers up. I know. But ultimately, you like to see it be a middle. Everybody kind of likes to have that idea that we're going to still be this, grassroots, homegrown kind of sport where everybody can still go hang out. Hey, I'm going to go see Ricky out, at the local restaurant tonight, and I'm going to walk up and say hi. I love that as well. I'm just saying that it's naive to think that if there's money on the table, someone's not taking it.
Well, again, I'm not suggesting that there isn't a charge. I just hope we don't get to a level of
$7,000 for a nosebleed at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and like you're just saying, I don't feel like it's just supply and demand. Obviously, that's what helps drive it, but I don't feel like we just keep raising prices until there's a pain point, if that's even a thing. I don't know. There should be. Like that. I feel like if I'm going to go in the middle and say there should be a happy medium somewhere where I don't. And of course, this is totally subjective. Mm-hmm. Sean Jack and someone that lives in California that typically pays a little bit more for everything may say, "Hey, I think a VIP pass for one day. I think $200 sounds great." And somebody in the Midwest or somebody at the some other event may say
$200. That's almost rent.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, again, I understand it's all subjective to everyone, and it's a very personal thing. But when I think about going to events, I'd be the first to admit, and largely I'm cheap. I'd be the first to admit that going to some professional sporting events just really, really turns me off thinking about how much I feel like you have to spend just to be there for that experience. And I know that's true of everything. Everything in life has a price on it. I get it. But
it's one of the reasons why my family, particularly, we usually go to the smaller sporting events in Milwaukee. We'll go to the Wave Games, which is, the Major League Soccer. It's not Major League Soccer. It's indoor soccer. We'll go to the Admirals games where you're paying $10 to $15 to park. Each ticket is only like $15. And so, it's an $80 to $100 a night for your family of four to go in. You probably buy some food, which is going to run you another $50 to $70 because you've got snacks. So, and I know, again, relative, if you're spending $150 in a night for your whole family to go out and enjoy something, that's not as bad as some, as a Bucks game where you're spending $150 for a family of four just for your tickets.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is I understand. I would love if we could keep it that way, but it's naive to think that if the money is there, someone's not going to take the opportunity to take it.
But clearly this could be said. I mean, naturally, this could be said literally of every product in the world, right? You think, well, they sold out of such.
Tour discs are selling for $25 to $30 these days, and they're selling out.
Yeah. So
Innova dropped their tour series literally right before we went on the show. So if they're still out there, please by all means go to InnovaFactoryStore.com and support the Touring Pro of your choice if there's still discs out there. And I think those are a little cheaper. I think those are $20 to $25. I didn't look at prices, but I know some tour discs are going for $25 to $30 and selling out. Does that mean that those prices, if they're selling out in minutes, you don't think a pro is looking at it and going, maybe an extra $5 would be nice?
Of course, but I mean, where do you always draw that line, right?
I draw the line at capitalism, Terry. Milk the consumer.
So,
I'm just kidding.
Yes, I'd love to see it. I love to, and we've said this about disc golf in general. When you add a price tag to something, there's an inherent not only accountability, but just there's a value then that is officially attached to it. And that's why you often see pay-to-play courses. Not only are they upkept and maintained, hopefully better than most because that money can go back into it, but just people feel like when you're there and you've paid for it, you treat it with a little more respect as opposed to going into a public park. And unfortunately, some feel like, well, it's a public park. I'll do whatever I want. Who cares if I break this or do that? I feel like a lot of people don't have that mentality as much going into a private facility, knowing that somebody's a caretaker, somebody specifically owns this or oversees it, and it all goes back. Now, someone also just said on the board that they are spending $200 to go watch the Skins match at Eagles Crossing. I will.
That's Scott Stokely, Ricky Wysocki, Eagle McMahon, and Brody Smith.
Yeah, and I will be the first to say, I'm not suggesting we don't have VIP opportunities. We don't have really unique one-off events and charity events. And if they charge $500 to go view that, that's fine. I feel like that's an exception, not the norm.
Terry is an exhibition. The 1%.
That is an exhibition style event that is supposed to have, it's really there. It's just that, an exhibition. So if there's some uniqueness and or premium for that, I feel like it does. Everything I just said isn't equally applicable. That's what
Tim Court says you get to play around too, so that includes a round there, which I think is normally $25 to $30. So take that for what you will. Looking at some of the questions on the board, being from Wisconsin, someone asked, "Will the DGPT come to Wisconsin?" Wisconsin had Worlds here, but no DGPT. We've got Sandy Point, Highbridge now with new ownership. There are probably, if you take the courses as they are right now without making modifications, I would argue that there's probably 4 courses in our state that would be legitimate Pro Tour caliber courses, maybe 5. I haven't played some of the far LSO courses, the superior ones, so I can't justify that. But the Highbridge courses, let me put it this way. Highbridge, I consider one, and it's 4 courses. I consider it one kind of area, so that's like 1 to me to Highbridge. I think Wilderness, that I've played that from the longs to longs, is a very
still tough enough.
I think it is, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, from longs to longs, it is. It is very. It can be very difficult. I think you could get away with a Pro Tour event there. I'm actually drawing blanks on any more than that. Maybe Brown Deer from longs to longs, but even that would be semi-soft. Yeah, I would put Wilderness in that area. I think it's a little harder than Brown Deer longs to longs because it's more heavily wooded, but the pros might consider it a little bit soft in aspects. But it's difficult. It's
and then of
difficult.
course we've had a Pro Tour stop
Manitowoc
very early on in Manitowoc that was held out at
that wouldn't hold up today.
A little bit at Rolling Ridge and at Silver Creek.
Rolling Ridge might be able to hold up just basically due to the tight fairways. Like you're looking at a lot of random, so to speak, shots. If you're off the mark by 3 feet, you could be off the mark by 50 feet then. So just based on the difficulty of the tight woods, that course, I guess, score-wise could hold up. I have my own feelings about the course in general. But
I say it all the time. Wisconsin has, nearly 400 courses or so. I haven't even checked lately. We have a lot of really, really good, solid disc golf courses. Unfortunately, we have not necessarily thrived in putting out world championship disc golf Pro Tour elite level courses. And not that we don't have great courses, because clearly we do.
Gray Fox may...
No, not Gray. Silver maybe. But
I'm sorry, yeah, Silver Fox.
But even that would be considered somewhat easy.
It would be considered a little
by
bit
today's
easy.
standards. So, yeah, and again, I've put about 30 courses in or had part in Wisconsin. So
Valley View.
Simon not. Yeah, Simon approved. So that's not. It's just our courses have not been designed with enough of that challenge in mind. Now
they're designed for regional pros. They're not designed for your touring pros. They're designed for your 1,000 to 1,010 rated player, not your 1,030 rated player.
Yeah, well, you call that a gold level versus blue level, some of the phrasing or terminology there. And think ahead, you guys are going to see some really great courses in Madison when the women are here for the United States Women's Disc Golf Championships. Those are great courses. They also hosted a Worlds back in 2016 or 17. Again, great courses. They wouldn't uphold or stand the test of time when Ricky and Eagle and Simon come to town. They simply would shred those courses, and they would make them look really, really easy. They may not be to your top level Wisconsin pros, but they would make them look almost too easy. So great courses, great facilities, not quite enough challenge.
Razorhausen asks, what is the likelihood of a brand new location for Worlds? It seems like there are only 4 or 5 cities able to do it at the moment. Terry?
I'll almost repeat what I just said in terms of needing the course quality, and then on top of it, making it even tougher, you have to have the infrastructure. You have to have the body of people that can support hosting it, that can arrange for dozens or hundreds of volunteers to be there for at least the week, and then, weeks or months leading into it, or even years. You need so many things to go right in order to host a World Championships. Now, they're largely going down to your 2, maybe even 3 course format, so that certainly helps. But there are just so few places that have a small proximity of courses that are World Championship caliber, that then also will support things like live broadcasting, which has become a staple and an expectation for our majors, that has the LOC, the local organizing committee, that can just put a bid together. Like you literally need to check dozens of boxes, and there are currently a handful of areas that I feel like can do that right now, and they have to be just a touch crazy to invite the world's best players to raise the most money they've ever raised, to then have everyone come in and play on your stage, all while carrying around a microscope or a magnifying glass. It's I don't wish it on anyone. I've run an amateur world championships. I loved it. I've attended 32 or 35 worlds of various levels. I love them. I don't know that I wish them upon anyone. And I get really defensive when somebody says, well, so-and-so should just do such and such.
It's 2 years worth of work.
Yeah, minimum. I mean, to pull off a world championships, especially ones that challenge our elite level pros, so tough. That's why you see more bids for an amateur worlds or for a junior worlds or a pro masters worlds.
The courses are easier to
acquire. They don't have to
for
be
that level of player.
Yeah, they don't have to be quite gold level in that sense. So to answer you, will we see? I mean,
all the courses that I mentioned in Wisconsin, phenomenal AM Worlds courses.
Sure,
100%.
Yeah, and a lot of people you see usually after bids and or tours are set for the year. That's one of the first complaints that you hear coming out of everywhere. Man, that sucks. They don't get a Worlds here in my such and such random state. Well, somebody's got to put in a bid, and then they have to also check all those other boxes I just mentioned. Worlds don't just get sprinkled from the sky. So I understand you want one in your area or your region, but that also means somebody needs to step up and be willing and able to run it. And right now, Dynamic Disc, I don't want to say can run majors in their sleep, but they're pretty damn close. Nate Heinold, with the support in the entire Peoria area and the plethora of courses that cater to so many different skill levels, also such a phenomenal facility, along with the resources to do that. The Charlotte area has obviously proven that they've got both the courses and then this insane 400 or 500 person club. Like, there's just not a lot of those pockets. Those are a couple that come to mind. But I'd love 20 more of those pockets. We don't have them.
If you're the PDGA, you have to be gun shy about letting even a relatively established TD with a decent course host Worlds, because it's your biggest event, and if anything is screwed up, as we talked with Kat, it's amplified tenfold because it's Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Every T has to be crossed. Every I has to be dotted. In fact, every I has to be crossed and T dotted as well.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's crazy for Worlds. So,
because we have those international players.
Yes,
So
there's
all those accents,
the umlauts and the accent grave and accent aigu.
Yeah.
So you really need to make sure you cover every base. So it's very difficult. I understand the PDGA's reluctance if there are events out there that are putting in bids that aren't getting them. I understand that. I don't know if there are, because as Jeff Spring and we saw on the thing for Worlds, there was apparently one bid for Jeff's Worlds. And according to, I think I heard Jeff talk on an interview saying that he had heard there were more bids, but that they just didn't get to the final, like the true final spot to be considered a bid. Like they got right up to that finish line and were told, maybe you might want to think about it in a year or two from now, so that those didn't count towards the bids. So ultimately we only had one bid, and it was, Green Mountain. So I think we're going to see more. And I'm on the record saying I would love to see different places, but I understand the limitations.
Yeah,
I do.
And a lot of people, of course, you can throw in Portland. And I'll say this: any place that currently holds and hosts a Pro Tour event seems like a likely candidate. The question is, do they need
Silver Series almost?
Do they need more courses? And then do they have the money and the support? And do they not want to be on the Pro Tour that particular year? I mean, and it's just so much more additional effort than hosting a Disc Golf Pro Tour event. But yeah, I mean, those are immediate places to start looking. Is someone that's hosting that elite of an event right off the bat. So Portland's great. I mean, you have, you get Blue Lake in the mix. And then of course you have Beaver State, the Beaver State courses, at Milo. You've got two great courses, but you also have no coverage there, no cellular signal. So, because we can't win if you say, hey, we're going to have Worlds. It's going to be out there at Milo. Oh, that course is amazing. That's so great. And then the week comes, what the F? How are we having a Worlds where we can't view it live? How's that even happening? That shouldn't be a thing. But the flip side of that is, well, we don't have it at that venue at all. And everyone's saying, why aren't we having it at Milo? It's the greatest courses. Well, there's your answer. So, and the quantity of courses.
D. Lillo brings up saying the pros don't want more than two courses.
Who knows? I don't know for sure.
For the most part, you're right. I think most pros would rather just learn two courses. I think you've got your outlying pro maybe that just would be like, no, I don't mind having three courses, but I think two has kind of become the standard at this point.
Someone's asking if Milo still has courses. Didn't the
burn and then flood?
As far as I know, I heard Milo was largely unaffected. The courses, there may have been a little devastation. Yeah, but
had some issues.
I don't believe.
And I think the courses had some damage to them, but it was
minimal,
significant enough to really affect the long-term sustainability of that course. I believe that it is still being used, and people are still very, very happy. Carney Schill says Milo Open.
Oh, there you go. That's all we need to know.
Assuming he means the Milo course is open and not he's running the Milo Open coming up.
That's possible.
Ryan Pilcher says, I
Milo
want
and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch? Ryan Pilcher says, I want the 7-round, 3 to 4 course World Championships again. That didn't exist. That never existed because it was a 7-round, 5-course Worlds.
Those were the days.
Oh my God,
there was some 4-coursers.
I'm sure there was. I'm just giving a hard time.
I believe Flagstaff Worlds, just off the top of my head, that's one. I think we had 4 courses.
That sounds about right.
But was about 6 or 7 or 8 or 9.
I think
8.5 rounds.
Here's how I feel. I think almost all AM Worlds should be that way. A 6, maybe not 7 rounds, a 6-round 4-course event. But Pro Worlds, you narrow it down, and because I kind of feel like, and I've always felt this way, that AM Worlds is much more of a, some people don't treat it this way, but much more of a celebration, much more of an exhibition. I know it's a World Championship, but if you're not getting the top tier quality courses at an AM Worlds, too bad. There's nothing wrong with a pitch and putt at an AM Worlds. If you had a 5,700 foot Am Worlds course,
Oh, what?
a 5,700
Okay.
foot Am Worlds course, like, cool. Guess what? You need to be able to shoot all types of courses. I've said it here before. There's a different pressure when you walk up to a deuce or die course where you need to get every hole. Like, there is not a hole you can miss or you're going to fall behind than there is on a 10,000 foot course where you can afford to miss one or two shots, and it doesn't really affect you because everyone's probably going to miss one or two here or there, as opposed to a deuce or die. I like the Am Worlds courses where you have just a huge variety. You go there, you play a bunch of different courses. It's a little bit more like a vacation and less like a life-changing event, so to speak. So I would like to see that more for Am Worlds. I don't think that has to change. I wouldn't be shocked if it does, but that's just how I feel. And usually how I feel is right. So
except for when you're wrong.
That's what I always say.
Yeah, so that debate will rage on as to where and what the worlds look like, and then, as you just said, whether it's a celebration or a family reunion of any kind, or if it's more about the competition, and then who are you trying to appease? Because we've also learned, as disc golf has gotten more serious and competitive, we've also learned that it's really tough to cater to the juniors that are 10, even though I guess Junior Worlds maybe, well, that's why they separated it out. It had a separate Junior Worlds.
They did.
But even catering to your FA 60 division versus your
MA 40 division.
or your MA 1s, exactly. Just two very different and contrasting courses that likely need to be played to be correctly challenging those skill levels. That can get tough unless you're in a huge community that has a lot of courses available to you. So, and some official history coming in on the board. Somebody asked when the Pro Worlds was in Canada.
Long time ago.
And Alan Risley says Toronto was 1987, and Greg Hosfeld won.
Okay.
I originally thought 89, but 87, Greg Hosfeld.
Two things, Terry. One,
nope.
I noticed, and I know you're not a big Twitter user.
I'm trying to be better, but go on.
First of all, please make sure to follow Skip Ace on Twitter.
Oh, God.
Second,
I will skip right past that easily.
Second,
no problem.
Who is, and I posted this, if you're looking at it from an analytical standpoint, who is the number one pick? If you're looking at drafting a team, and you have
the year.
For the year.
Okay. That plays Frisbee on my team.
Who do you want the most on your team? Who do you think, in your opinion, and I'll give you, after you answer, I'll give you the reasons why I think the particular player I am picking is that, but who do you think should be the number one pick? And then the nice thing is that at the end of the year, we'll have all these stats as far as who was the number one pick.
I mean, if we're going off a little recency bias as well, which I guess as the end of the year wraps up and you move into the new year, if I understand how your little fantasy world works.
You get points based on where they finish in Pro Tour events. It's all Elite Series, no Silver Series. Elite Series and Majors. So if a player takes first, they get 1 point. If they take second, they get 2 points. The goal is to have the fewest amount of points on your team to get the win for the week.
And do ratings matter?
Ratings do not matter in this particular format.
Oh, well, then that changes. That's totally different.
Yeah, ratings do not matter in this particular format. It's literally just you draft, everyone's available. You get one person per team. So if you're first and I'm second, you pick Andrew Marweed. I cannot pick Andrew Marweed. I have to pick somebody different.
Okay.
So who do you think, based on your vast experience out in the field, seeing things that nobody else sees, Terry, nobody else sees, who would you take on your team to be the number one pick for just this year? We're thinking just 2022.
I mean, I think you'd be an idiot to not pick once you flipped your coin of either Cat or Page.
That's good if you're going FPO. What about MPO? We're currently Skip Ace does not support FPO.
Oh my gosh!
On their website,
you sexist SOB.
We will be supporting it next year. We want to.
I'm boycotting until then.
That's fine.
I'm out.
Only because we had there are more complications when you add different divisions and positions that we didn't want to have to deal with this particular season. We wanted to get the product out, but I think you're right. Cat or Page is a good selection if you're going FPO. How about MPO?
I mean,
well, first I have to ask, if we were doing FPO, you are sitting with the first pick. Is it Cat or is it Page?
I mean, if you're talking about who is most, it's so funny. You literally could flip a coin.
You could, but you have.
I mean, that's like.
But you're sitting there in front of the computer. You have to make a choice.
That's what feels so silly about it. Is like, because if I had to make that choice, if I was sitting in that position, I probably would literally flip, because their stats are so
close.
damn close, like just close.
And I'm going to spoil it for MPO, but unlike MPO, both of them are probably going to play almost every event.
That, and they're both almost never going to finish out of the top 3. So that's why I say you could literally flip a coin.
Page finished out of the top 3 a few times this year.
I know. I'm just saying.
Cat did as well, but not as. I don't think. As many
I mean, and then I guess you'd have to have the exact same argument for Paul and Ricky. Ricky right now would have that nod. I feel like from a slight consistency standpoint.
You're pushing the Ricky button. First overall pick.
I'd flip a coin and wherever it landed.
That's dumb, but
I mean, really, because
and I'll only say this,
and I'll say that because what's the point? I don't want to say what's the point. If their stats are that close,
Ricky's the right answer.
Okay,
and I only say that. I think you're right. Their stats are that close. The difference is this year, and again, if you're a fantasy nerd, you do all the research. Paul is missing a handful of events because he's supposedly going over to Europe, assuming everything goes well. I think he's missing 3 Pro Tour events.
I didn't even think about any of that. But
and that's the thing you have to think about, because would you rather take Paul's consistency or Ricky's consistency? But then you have to think about who isn't going to be showing up. It's one of the reasons, honestly, if Eagle were playing every event, I would probably take Eagle. But he's skipping 5 events this year on the tour. So his value is going to be pushed down because there are certain events you will have to fill in another position with Eagle. I think Ricky is, in my idea right now, the number 1 pick. It's just a slight pick over Paul, but it's all based on the number of events that they're playing. But you're right. If you just looked at, if they were all playing the same amount of events, heck yeah, you flip a coin on that one because it doesn't matter. But, and again, that's why I spoiled it, due to the number of events they're playing. And that's part of the fun with Skip Aces. You have to do all that research. You have to find out right now, oh gosh, who's their schedule? What are they doing? Dickerson, is he the 3rd pick? Well, I don't know. He's going to miss 2 Pro Tour events. Is that better than Calvin, who's not missing probably any and going to play all of them? But Calvin had a rougher year. Dickerson's playing with new discs. It's all part of the fun of doing Skip Ace. But I wanted to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
As far as who's going to be the first pick, because that's one of the, if you're in a fantasy world in any sport, that's always the big offseason talk. Who's the number 1 pick of the draft? You know, if you're sitting there on the hot seat, who do you go with?
How do you spell Ponzi?
Ponzi.
Oh, Ponzi. Whoa. Okay.
I don't like you talking about that when we're talking about Skip Ace.
No. Somebody just said
I'm
that
just teasing.
with the trivia question that came in on the board that I also answered in correct fashion moments ago. I said, what do I win for answering the question correctly? And they said, a free entry into Skip Ace. And I said, F that Ponzi scheme. So thank you for the spelling. Anyway. Yeah. And honestly, I shouldn't be allowed to gamble anything, anywhere, or play any games, because if it meant enough, I could absolutely yell during a putt or a backswing.
That's true.
When I'm out on the course,
how much
would it take you to
take
diss out of
sneeze?
bags? I could take diss out of bags. I could do all sorts of things out there.
How much is it to fake a sneeze in the middle of a putt?
Oh, man.
Like, what's your number, Terry?
I mean, If the right money's on the line,
$5,000. If I handed,
yes.
if I handed you $5,000 and we're sitting on hole 18, Kevin Jones.
How big is the event? $5,000 is what
we're talking a pro
NTs.
tour. We're talking a pro tour event.
Yeah, pro tours. Okay, $5,000.
And I don't know. I don't care what position he's in. If he's shooting for first or third or whatever, Kevin Jones is in the middle of his backswing.
Yeah, I mean,
Achoo!
Yep, a chewy.
And you get, is $5,000 the number for you?
It starts there. So next week, I'm gonna release my new ad deck. All right, this is for you to purchase.
Wow.
For you to purchase distractions. My new distraction deck. That's what we'll call it.
Awesome.
For you to purchase them. You want a camera shutter? I got you. You want a cell phone ringing? I got that too. You name it. You want the official? We got to get a Kevin Jones. Some kind of mix or beat going, like just to like bust out mid swing. I got you. There are yes. You want me to holler out your company name? Pastry Dice. I got you. That's gonna cost you some money, Dylan, but I got you. So we can make that work. Vicey
one asks, does Statmando keep track of players who switched discs and then their performance? No, actually, but if I'm releasing a video probably tomorrow morning of our mock draft that a bunch of us went through, and Evan from Statmando at the very end of the broadcast kind of even addressed that exact question, because Dixon asked it as well, about how a player looks the year after they switch manufacturers, whether it goes up because maybe they're practicing more to get ready for their new discs, as opposed to maybe a player who knows their bag and isn't practicing nearly as hard, and things like that. So I'm not saying it's coming anytime soon, but the question has been addressed.
I've got a question for Statmando too, totally unrelated. I'll have to reach out to them afterwards.
The answer is 12.
I doubt it, but okay.
I'm just saying that's usually my guess. 42.
No, that's not the answer to everything or something like that. Okay. Real quick, I'm going to sidetrack all the way back to the initial opening of the after show. Dust, who was out there, I appreciate it. Actually, yes, there was another stand-up that was released within Netflix. Aziz Ansari had a little piece released in there.
I want to see that.
That was pretty good. He essentially goes into the Comedy Cellar in New York, and he does a little bit. It was totally unannounced. I feel like, what was that, Bud Light or something that also did a little tour of doing those? Or maybe that was Dane Cook. Dane Cook had this thing where he also just like randomly, and I know a lot of comedians show up and just test out
especially
material
at those
and
big
whatnot.
Markets.
Yeah. But yes, there was an Aziz one. They made it sound like it was going to be some kind of a series. I'm not sure. But it was really good. He talks about Aaron Rodgers and COVID and all that other stuff, which of course has a little more tied to us being Packer fans, but it was really good as well. And I did watch the Aziz thing. That was recent. I forget the name of it, but it's a Netflix thing. Two funny facts about that. One, I've been to the Comedy Cellar in New York. I've seen some stand-up comedy there. So that was kind of cool. Obviously, it's a pretty iconic place. And two, I've seen Aziz Ansari live, and that was before... I don't want to say before he was big. Clearly,
did we
he was
go
big.
see Aziz Ansari together?
I don't remember if you went along. I know I went. It was here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I know. I think we've seen,
maybe you were there.
I think we've seen him together. I think was your wife there?
I don't know,
because I think we went with. I think we went as couples.
I don't know.
It's been a long time.
I know that when he was here in Milwaukee quite a few years ago, I had seen him. So
yeah, I'm fairly certain we all went together at one point.
At any rate, so that was something else that I did watch. I found, again, entertaining as well. So those are the two things that I managed to watch.
I am going to go out of my way to watch the Aziz Ansari because I think he's very funny.
Yeah, he is. All right. We need a PA pro level event, even Sedley.
Pennsylvania pro level event.
Yeah, there you go.
Even Sedgley.
No, Sedgley, unfortunately, as much as I've run tournaments at Sedgley and love Sedgley, you know, the famous quote that I remember from Sedgley is, those guys tell us nobody parties like Sedgley.
That's true.
And then he's usually followed up by, there's what is one of the claims to fame was something about they don't know if there's a course that has any more DUIs that have come from Sedgley.
Geez.
So unfortunately, I see how those two might correlate.
Correlation.
I think that's what somebody had told me years ago from Sedgley. But yeah, it's
nothing I'd be
a great iconic course and whatnot, obviously, for all the historical purposes, but not one that necessarily I think could host a Pro Tour caliber event out there. All right. I don't know. Do we have much else to discuss here in the after show?
I don't think so. Terry, and I told you this last week, and the more and more I watch it, the more and more I need you to get on board. I'll give you the SmashBoxx credentials for HBO.
Okay.
The righteous gemstones. Right up our alley.
Okay.
So just saying, we're almost through the season 1. We've got like 1 episode left, and then there's only 2 seasons right now. So I'm just saying, you will find great pleasure in it.
Okay. I could be all about that. Along with that, D. Lilio, I believe, writes page documentary. I'm unsure. I haven't asked lately. I am unsure of what the exact status or timeline is with that right now. Obviously, it's been worked on, and I know she had recently, I think, was it Pennsylvania she had to fly to?
Yes.
Philly? Where she had met up with one of the narrators, professional soccer player.
Yes.
Carly. And which is funny because I think there's a disc golfer in PA named Carly, if I recall, and I was very confused. I was like, well, I mean, it would have made sense if she did it too, but I think it was a different one. So, I don't know the timeline on it, but I know it's being worked on. So excited to see when that does get dropped. All right, I'm looking. I don't see anything else.
Then let's do our Patreon giveaway.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to wrap up the show.
Oh, okay, yeah, those are good things. So we'll end it on a high note here.
Yeah, we will. So tonight, Terry, we are giving away one of these discs, or
yes,
2 of them?
I've got an option here. I got to thank Garrett over at True Flight Collective. Hung out with him a little bit this weekend. He's been filmed before on the Disc Golf Guy, but also thanks to him, he said he's got a couple things to give away. I'm not going to lie. Originally, these were for the Disc Golf Guy vlogs, of which I'm going to save a couple back. I'm going to give some away there. And I figured since we're talking about them and the support, that we'd have some for this for here at SmashBoxx. So,
well, thanks, buddy.
I cross-promote and cross-share all of the amazing things. So thank you. I'll give you your option, whether you want what I believe I said was an MX3 versus an R Pro Pig. I'll give you your option, both custom stamped by True Flight. You can choose one or the other, and then the other one is going to go into the bin of Disc Golf Guy giveaways that will be going along with all of the videos from this weekend.
Well, if you want to be eligible for our giveaway, you can sign up at patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV or go to SmashBoxx.tv/weekly winners. No, weekly giveaways. Weekly giveaways, I believe it is. And you can enter in weekly. I take everything from the last week. And tonight we have 175 people eligible for our giveaway. Terry, as always, I have to ask, what number are we going with?
Well, I mean, clearly, Adam Hammes this weekend repeated after an Eagle 2 on hole 5. So
I thought you were going to go with Katrina Allen in her second world championship.
Let's go there. That seems more fitting.
All right, our second number. I sorted them by first name. God, you're awful. The first number is 115. The second number is 136. 136. Let me pull up the thing. So it's going to be one of the high letters here. 136 is Robert Lahai. Congratulations, Robert Lahai. Much appreciated for your Patreon support. You've been a Patreon supporter at the $3 level since, I'm looking right
1992.
now. Yeah, 1992. Wow. You owe us some back money. No, I think it's
August of 2021?
2021.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Robert. Congratulations. Terry will get you that disc. We'll send you an email. Get your preference if you want which piece of plastic you would like to have.
That's back-to-back weeks. Giveaways going to Michigan. So
what?
Thank you so much for
last week's was Michigan.
Disc Baron was our winner from last week, if I recall.
No, that was 2 weeks ago, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm making stuff up.
You are.
So let's just gloss over that real quick. All right, guys. Thank you so much. it's been a fun night, as always. Next week, as I said, we know at least one of our guests will be a 3-time world champ.
What are we coming to when I know already that, like, in a couple of weeks we're going to have Steve Dodge on?
Yeah, 1 month from next week. Yeah. So 5 weeks from now.
That's pre-planning. that is some pre-planning.
I like how he asked if we, book out that far, and I'm like, no, never. But just remind us in like 3 weeks that you need to be on 2 weeks after that, and then we shouldn't screw it up too bad.
At some point, I think we're going to have Sean Jack on to talk
All right.
stuff.
I like that.
Listen, we're organized here.
Yeah. No, we're not. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. This has been SmashBoxxTV Podcast 388's After Show. For Katrina Allen in our regular show, for Johnny V and myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. Go watch some post-production coverage. We'll see you next week when you step inside the Smashbox.